Hey everybody, this is Steve.
And this is Parn Dog. Did I already say that one?
Yes, you did.
Damn it.
I'll give you one more shot. Go ahead.
This is P.
Oh my god. I don't even know what else to say right now. You could have gone with a lot. Hey, Cornelius. Or anything else. All right, here we go. Hey, this is a Flippin' and Mashing episode, I think, 27. We got a decent amount of stuff to talk about today. We got new stuff. That I got a brand new pinball machine. Well, new to me.
Oh
very
my god,
old
you
machine,
got a new box. You bought a Primus.
No. There are some new stuff. Again,
you bought Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes. I got
You sold one of your kids.
Yes. I have been shooting pinballs across into other ships for days now. No. It's much cheaper. much cheaper than Pirates of the Caribbean. No, it's Dragon. So it's an older game. It's a Gottlieb System 1. It's made probably 74 or something like that. Anyways...
if we don't find this, Chris is gonna...
Yeah, he's gonna... So you get to work on the...
Dragon. We're going to the Internet Pinball Database.
But
78. It's actually newer than I thought.
Okay. Well, when did Roller Disco come out? Look that up real quick.
What do you think I am, the Internet?
You got it in front of you. It'll be fine.
We got to tell the story in case they don't listen to the extra, because it's 1980 is Roller Disco.
Okay, so very, very close. Because they feel very similar as well. I do think, personally, that Roller Disco is still a better machine, in my opinion. I really love the art in Dragon. I think it's a cool-looking game. I think once I clean it up, polish it up, and put some new LEDs, I want to put a lot of color in it.
So you're saying you're going to polish a turd?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that turd, I'm going to polish it till it's just so shiny and colorful that everybody wants to have it.
People on the internet don't review it highly.
Sure.
But we just played it 4-player for 3 or 4 games, and if you go for the goals of doing the ABCD and getting the spinner lit and getting extra ball, it's actually a good time, and it's actually really hard. And it's dirty, so it should roll slow.
Right. I think if we can raise it up so it moves a little bit faster and clean it up so it slides faster, I think that it could maybe be a much more challenging game. We also need to fix one of the flippers on the left flipper.
I fixed it.
Kind of. It doesn't go all the way up.
Oh, shit, that's right.
So you don't get your full swing. You don't have your follow through, as well as.
Well, we should explain that. So
sure,
it played quote unquote fine when we went and looked at it.
Yes,
but we put it back together today.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple friends over at the office to play, and all of a sudden the left flipper started machine gunning.
Yep.
And so the end of stroke switch wasn't fully separating.
We still played a couple games with it like that, but go on.
So finally, between games, I opened her up quick and I adjusted the switch leaf, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's when we found out that their plunger is very unique, where this piece of nylon or plastic sticks out of the metal and then gets sucked in with the coil.
Okay.
And it must have broken the tip off or something, because they put a wing nut on the end of it. So it can't go all the way.
Right. So the popper, when it pops, it has...
Popper.
Or fine, what do you want to call it?
The flipper coil?
Flipper coil. Okay, so this flipper coil, whenever you flip it, it shoots out this rod in and out. And when it comes back in, clearly it was getting caught. So,
that's what I think.
Right.
I think it was getting caught in
So their solution was, if we put a wing nut on the very tip of it, it can't go all the way in, and that will stop it from getting caught.
So this is most likely was an operator fix, right? It's
just a cheap way to get out of it, yeah.
Instead of replacing the part, we put another part on, and it's working. Not correctly, but it's working, right. And you can walk away.
Right, because it's shortened the reach of the flipper, so it doesn't swing all the way through properly.
Totally, yeah. Once we found that, I actually looked when we started playing, and holy crap, that flipper is a half an inch lower.
Yes, yeah.
It's noticeably lower.
Yep. And both flippers, I think, need to be, their coils need to be probably replaced so it has more of a pop to it, because they don't have enough gumption, in my opinion. At least that left one does. Maybe it's just because of this issue.
I'm
Either way,
assuming that both flippers have to be rebuilt.
Sure.
This was the Dragon I passed on because I knew that.
Right.
This was the one. This is from an episode or two ago. This is one where someone we know emailed me saying they had a game, I had to kind of poke some information out of them, finally. I went and looked at it, took pictures, got a price, and then came back and talked to you about it.
Right.
And if you didn't want it, I had another. My neighbor would have bought it, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's like roller disco, but doesn't have drop targets. That's what everybody's main complaint is. No drop targets. Which drop targets are fun, but this game still is okay.
I think that this game would be significantly better if it had one more popper.
When you say popper...
I actually mean popper this time.
What? Is that a...
Yes.
Oh my god, why do I forget what they're called?
Because it feels like a popper, so I don't know what else you would call it. What do you call that thing?
A pop bumper?
Pop bumper? It could be a pop bumper.
Shut up. I cannot believe I'm forgetting what this part's called. Yeah, pop bumper. Yeah. It only has 2.
Right. I think if it had 3, that we could like bang around inside there.
Yeah.
Or if it had like
a rubber.
If it had a rubber like right next to it.
To keep it in there
correct.
A little longer.
I think that it'd be a little more exciting. Because it kind of bounces off them and then just leaves.
Yeah,
it doesn't hang out in there very often.
We could drill some holes and put some posts in there.
No, because somebody already did that. So down in where the flippers are.
Well, how did we find this?
We found this because the ball doesn't even drain.
It was sitting on the floor, and we went to lift up the game to put the legs on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm staring at Steve going, dude, something's weird. The ball won't drain. And I thought, well, we'll just got to tip it up.
Right.
No, it doesn't fit.
Right. So so my other machine, the roller disco, has a post in between the 2 flippers. Well, it's got 4 flippers technically, but the 2 where it drains. And I like to every now and then bank it off of that, or get hopefully the save off of that little post, because the ball might bounce off of it and you come back from the dead essentially. Well, somebody tried to do the same thing with this game. The game is not designed that way. The game was not created that way.
No, so it's a tight fit.
Right. And it's too tight, and it doesn't fit. Because one side, the ball will not go in. On the right-hand side, it will slip through. But we fixed it pretty easily. We didn't just pull out the post, because that would leave a hole. We just took off the rubber off of it, so it just slides right by it.
This is one of those...
It doesn't look that bad, because honestly, now you can't really notice it for that much.
Correct. It's one of those things... Well, I'll rabbit trail twice.
Sure.
I remember on Pinside when someone put a center post on a Tron, the internet, I think, lit on fire. People were... that guy might not even be on the internet anymore. People are just freaking out. And
why did he put on it in the first place? Just because he thought it was too hard?
I think so.
Okay. All right.
It
is a hard game. I'll give that to him. It is a hard game.
The game is totally hard.
So he's just going to cheat and put a post there.
But people do this for Ghostbusters. But what someone made was it's a plastic that goes on top of between the 2 flippers, like the outlanes, and the post comes from the top down, so you're not altering the playfield.
Interesting.
That didn't exist, but this guy just did it, and it's going to wreck your resale value. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Unless you, for us, I didn't know that post. I don't even remember that post being there when we played the game.
Well, I mean, obviously it was, but I mean,
yeah, but I don't remember seeing it.
No.
And then
as it blends in, you wouldn't not
totally.
know that it
exactly
doesn't belong there, right?
And every time I drained, which I only played 1 or 2 balls,
it must have always drained on the one side.
Yep.
Right.
You can pull the post out, and you have a hole. You need to fill the hole, then you got to paint it and patch it.
It's not necessary.
Or you can leave. We pulled the rubber off, and so it's just the metal post. So a ball's gonna hit it, and it may bounce up, but most likely
it would be very unlikely. Most likely, it's just gonna glance off of it because it's a small post. Metal, it'll be metal on metal. It's just gonna glance off of it and probably keep rolling down.
Yeah,
you would basically almost have to hit it dead center for it to pop back up again. If that happens, congratulations. You deserve to have it pop back up again.
So I suggested just leave it as the metal post.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. Maybe I would get a very small post rubber, as long as the ball fit on that left side.
That's kind of what I was also wondering. Is if we can find a small enough one, I wouldn't mind putting on a rubber, but as long as it was small enough that it could still slip by.
Yeah.
And if not, we'll just leave it the way it is.
Exactly. Otherwise, the game's just dirty, but it needs to be clean. And then I've gathered up all my LEDs that I had left over from an old project.
Mm-hmm.
And they're Comet, so they're decent LEDs. And I left the bag on your desk. So now you can LED your game. They're all the same color, so they're not going to F it up.
Thank you, by the way.
And I think that game only uses that bayonet style. So you're good to go.
I'm excited. I think I do want some color ones, though.
Oh, that's fine. You can order. But
yeah, I think I want to put some... So there's a lot of blue on the outside of the machine.
Isn't that weird?
It's very weird.
So the game's painted a base color of white on the outside.
Right.
And then it's stenciled blue and red.
Correct. So right. Yeah.
Dragon and the chick.
Yeah. So like the stencils definitely play in with the actual theme of the game. It's got the dragon and the girl on there. But color scheme wise doesn't even try to come close. Because color scheme wise, like the actual playfield and the backsplash, which is awesome, by the way. I love the backsplash. The girl is so attractive.
I'm just gonna let you keep saying backsplash.
Back glass. But
it makes it sound more like organic that you're such a newbie.
Sure. But that's all green, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
So it's just
a green lizard or dragon, I guess.
Clearly, whoever was making the cabinet and whoever was making the playfield and the back glass were not on the same page.
No. But the stencils of the cabinet look good.
They do. They look great, actually. They're just not the same color. So I think if I add some blues, light-wise, into the playfield, it would even it out. It would even it out and make it feel better.
You do you, Steve. This is what they would call on the forum clown puke.
I love clown puke.
In reality, it's your game. Do as you wish. Especially if you're going to keep it.
Right. And when I bought this game, and I think if you guys listen to the bonus episode at the end of this, I think I say it several times, like, I'm buying this game basically to flip it. This game and the other game, I'm going to try to basically...
bundle
them, sell them off, and try to get maybe a better game. One single better game. But now that I have it, I just want to put it in my house.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but I was trying to do like an investment and make some cash out for this, but now it's turned into...
But see, you were going to turn the cash into another game. It's not like you were going to make money.
That's true.
But this is the thing. You are now having multiple games for really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 games for under $500.
Yep. Well, original bike price.
Yeah. I mean, and it's under that.
Mm-hmm.
So this proves that you don't have to have a lot of money to be in the hobby.
Right.
Now, you're not going to get tier 1 or whatever they call, like, A titles.
Right.
But you're going to have pinball machines. And they're not even EMs. They're solid states for a few $100s. I mean, they're good deals.
Mm-hmm. And I told Easton, my son, about it. I told him, because we ended up a toy room, got that all done. I'm going to put in some cool, flashy green carpet in there, and then it'll be like this big toy room. We're going to just fill it with toys, and he can make whatever kind of mess he wants in there. And then I was telling him I have this new pinball machine. We should probably bring it back to the house. So, oh, yeah, put it in the toy room. It's like, yeah. It's not a bad idea, to be honest.
Is that up in the attic, though?
Yeah. It would be hard to get it up there because it'd be so heavy. But
how easy are the stairs?
It's easy.
Is it straight shot or is there like corners?
There is a turn right away, but it's a wide enough space that 2 men could easily get it up in there.
I mean,
but it would have to be obviously no matter what, it had to be 2 people. But I'm not lifting a pinball machine.
Oh yeah, no, that's always a 2-person
no, I take that back. If I had it on a dolly, I could get it up there all by myself, no problem.
No, it's always a 2-person job though, just in case.
Yeah, sure.
I don't. Do you remember? Do you ever help me move a game at Kevin's house?
Yes.
Fuck.
We almost killed
stairs.
ourselves. Yeah, for sure. Because his stairs have like plush carpet on it, which essentially turns into ice once you're wearing socks on there. So we all almost died like 3 times. So it was.
But he has that weird he's like a triangle landing. So like stairs go up, it's a landing, and then they go back down the other side,
and then to the left.
But then
another set of stairs. Yeah.
So You have to take the door off at the landing.
There's a door on the landing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember.
You go up the stairs, take the dolly out from under the game, turn the game, put the dolly back under, then bring the game back up. Me and him did Gladiators without a dolly. Did you know Gottlieb System 3s are heavy as fuck?
Yeah.
That we did almost get run over by the game. And I think he had a bum knee at the time, so it was just
even better.
It was a horrible idea. At any rate, if the stairs are a pretty easy shot, it's not that bad to get a game up.
This wouldn't be that hard. I mean, it's not a real difficult.
The idea of moving a game sucks. Like, it makes me very negative. But the actual process of it doesn't take that long. What was it, 5 minutes maybe?
Yeah, because I think I can put 2 machines up. Might be a good spot for it in my head. At the same time, we rearranged the middle level, so there's kind of an open space. We kind of have it planned for it, but now that I have these new machines in my head, I'm like, well, I could just put those pinball machines right there.
It is easier to put them on the main floor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'd be easier for everybody else to play them, too. I don't know. It is what it is. I might not even bring them home. Maybe I'll actually have somebody buy them for $10,000 and let's get them out of here.
Wow, if you're selling System 1s for $10,000, I better start selling my shit.
Yeah,
my medieval is $100K.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you have your own new Gottlieb machine.
Wow, I'm dumb too.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine had purchased a Project Joker Poker System 1 Gottlieb. It's also from the same year as your Dragon.
Okay.
Your roller disc is a wide body. The Dragon and the Joker Poker are standard body. His project machine is a project. There's 2 transformers in the game. There's a big one and a small one. The small one does, for some, I think it's funny because like when you see them and you don't know the details, you would think the big one does like the 69 volts.
That's what I've always thought when I look at it, yeah.
But the little transformer does the 69 volts for the displays and a couple other small voltages for the CPU board.
Mm-hmm.
The small transformer is supposedly bad. And it could just be the displays.
And the kicker is,
you can't fix them or get a new one.
Because they don't exist anymore.
Nope.
So.
And 69 volts is kind of a fucking weird voltage.
So you're going to buy it, and you have there's a theory online of how to actually pull this stunt off.
I'm going to make it a coffee table and piss the world off.
See, and that's how you do it. It's a good idea. No. All right.
Okay, so there's a theory that I don't think anybody has proven yet. And if someone has done this, please reach out.
Yes, we actually need your help desperately.
Because I'm going to do this.
And if you know somebody, tell them. That way we can figure this out.
This is going to be fun. Actually, I don't need another project because I have too many. But this is going to be a sweet project.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the theory. By there's a guy on Pinside called Force Flow. And what happens is, so he found out, like you go through the manual and you see what voltages the small transformer provides. You get LED displays, which are, I think, 12 volt. So now you're cutting out, you don't need 69 volt. Then you get a new CPU board from like Nywumph, which, God, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, or Rotten Dog, and then that, in theory, only uses 5 or 12 volts. So then, if you only need 5 or 12, and 12 for the new LED displays, you just get like an arcade power supply, and you're done.
Okay.
I mean, you're not done. You have to, wire in the stuff, and...
Sure.
But that CPU board path led me down another avenue, which I got real excited about for you and me.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's the theory to get it working without a small transformer. I'm going to try it. I don't think anybody's done it. And if someone has, they haven't really reported and shown pictures. So what I do is going to have to be documented to prove that it works.
Right. To actually show the world that it can be done.
Yeah, because if it can be, and that small transformer, there was like I forgot what they call it. I'm going to call it a TSB, which is like a technical service bulletin for the System 1 series. There was a TSB that added a fuse so that it would blow the fuse before it wrecked the transformer. And so there's a lot of games that never had it, and I think that is what caused the transformer to fail. Well, they can fail. They usually don't, but that was one problem that was known. So we get the small transformer fixed, or at least cut out of the situation.
Right. With these other solutions.
Yeah, and we've been looking at CPU boards for Steve's game for a while now.
Right, because it has a new gimmick problem that I think we've talked about several times on this, that it wants to automatically launch the ball.
And I think we're 90% sure that Roller Disco needs a CPU board.
Right.
You can see some old acid damage, but
in either way, it has other issues that I think a new CPU board will actually fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah, especially that weird sound.
Right.
I'm scrolling. I guess I'm a big user of Pinside. Like I'm
now,
there.
With that said, okay, why were you scrolling it looking for CPU boards? Why do you need one?
Oh, okay. So I need a new CPU board for Joker Poker so that it doesn't use those weird voltages.
Ah, gotcha.
So I have to get a
CPU
board.
So it's not just okay. So you need those other elements, plus you need a CPU board to actually make this all work.
I need new displays and a new CPU board minimum to make Joker Poker work.
Okay.
And in reality, the displays from Boston Pinball are like $270, so they're expensive, but they're not super bad.
Either way, you're bringing a machine back from the dead. It would be a cool project.
Yeah, and the best part, I guess, is that Joker Poker is one of the best System 1s.
Right, so it has a really great resale value.
I didn't realize how big. Well, and Pinside averages to like 1,300 to 1,700 depending on condition. That's a pretty big, but that's working and nice.
It's a good price tag, especially with what you paid for it, and with your fixes in it, you can still make a good chunk of money off of it.
That's my excuse for owning another game. Because I probably won't sell it if I get it working.
Good point.
Because if it's a good game, why would I get rid of it? It's a shitload of drop targets. Looks like a fun game, honestly. Okay, so I'm looking for a CPU board too, because I want to make sure that I can get this game up.
Right.
Because I don't need a project that's going to be a project for 20 years. The only good thing about that, if I never get to it, is that you can resell it for the same price, or I can resell it for parts, which I do not like parting out a game that doesn't like have water damage.
Right.
No reason to do that. You can save the game. I'd rather just sell it to someone who's going to fix it. So I'm scrolling Pinside the other day, and how long ago was it? 6 months ago, I bought the P-Rock system to put into Tron, or whatever game I wanted, and I can make my own game.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot that you even did that. Yes.
Another project that
okay.
I'm still in my mind.
Sure. And that does what for our listeners?
So what you can do is you can program it yourself, so you can make your own pinball machine.
Right.
So
see, I thought that you bought that because you wanted to build your own pinball machine, not because you wanted to modify Tron.
Oh, well, I wanted to put it into Tron to get a bunch of like experience and then make my own game.
Gotcha.
I have my own couple games in my head that I want to do. I just have to. I have to do them. And the one thing I did was like, I was gonna put it into Tron, reprogram Tron to get a feel for the code. Make like, Tron extended or whatever.
Okay. Sure.
See what I can do. Then try to get another cabinet and throw a game together.
Right.
It's a lot of work, but
either way, you have this device.
Yeah. So I'm familiar with it. I actually got up stuff to get it. I had a game flipping, but virtually. I haven't put it in.
FYI, I'm going to crack this one because I need some more fuel.
You look a little tired.
It is late right now because we've been up for a long time.
We're recording at night, which is
it's rare. It's how we started, but it's rare.
What are you drinking, Steve?
What else am I drinking? Drinking a Kickstart Blood Orange.
So I have a Coke Zero with Jack Daniels in it.
Oh. Alcoholism.
Hence why I might be.
No, just kidding.
Hence why I might be a little spacey.
No, you're fine.
Mr. Jack is leading me on weird paths. I don't drink pop. I'll drink this weird stuff
Hybrid.
for the show.
Yeah.
But that's usually in the mornings when we record. I don't drink this stuff at night because I will be freaking wired. But I'm doing a pop, which I think will give me a couple hours.
Sure.
Shouldn't be too bad.
Mm-hmm. And I'll drink a Kickstart and go to sleep. It doesn't bother me at all. But that's me. That's my body. It's
you drink this shit all day long.
I drink this shit all day long.
I don't. I drink
it at like 10 o'clock. I know it's wrong at like 10 o'clock. So I try not to drink too much. But like,
you're gonna die.
Yeah, that's what I do. All right. Anyways, we were talking about something else completely different.
Okay, so pop. There's a software suite called Mission Pinball Framework. They make a framework that runs the P-Rock stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if it's fully open source, but it's a very open way, very well documented, so you can write code that runs on a board.
Okay.
Well, there's a guy, I'm pretty sure he's in Germany. His name is Ralph. He designed his own boards for a System 1 and a System 80 Gottlieb. So what he did was he made a board, and you put a Raspberry Pi plugs into it.
And a Raspberry Pi for our listeners is?
It's a little computer on a chip, or like a SOM or a SOC.
Right.
It's a small computer. Yeah. It's $35.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a GPIO pin. So
and when we say computer, we're talking about just like the motherboards.
Yeah, it's this little tiny guy.
Right.
It's really made for prototyping. It runs Linux, or you can put Windows on it.
Yeah, we use them here at work quite a bit when we're troubleshooting different stuff. But
yeah, they're like little test devices.
Mm-hmm.
That Ghost little Destiny Ghost?
Yeah, our little Destiny Ghost that we were turning into an Alexa unit.
I hacked in a Raspberry Pi Zero to that Ghost.
Mm-hmm. To make it function and work properly.
I don't even think the internet cares about that project.
The internet should care because it's the only Ghost that's ever had Alexa properly in it, the way that Amazon falsely advertised their current project.
That is correct. I just pointed at Steve saying yes.
Right.
Anyway.
And there's a reason why they all got shipped back and got shat on immediately is because they falsely advertised, and they maybe somewhere in the advertisement somewhere said, this is not a real Alexa unit. This just works with an Alexa unit. But everybody bought it because they thought
it was an Alexa unit.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's not. It is just a toy
that only is tied to Destiny.
And it's really only for looks, because you can just ask Alexa to do everything that Ghost can already do.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it has a voice box that is with the game. Yeah, with the game. So it sounds like right.
But
it's cool. I'm not saying it's not cool, but at the same time, it is not what people wanted to buy. And it's $100. An Echo is $30.
Yeah, it was way overpriced.
Extremely overpriced. So, anyways, I shipped mine back and gave them the what for, and they gave me my money back.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, good.
Mm-hmm.
You
did not ship yours back because you hacked the snot out of it and turned it into a real unit that people actually want. You should actually
put it up and
sell it for $1 trillion.
Oh my God! I could retire.
Yep, that's how you do it.
So these boards.
Anyways, back to these boards.
He calls them. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong again. It's LISY. And then there's the so Lissy. There's LISY 1 for the System 1. There's LISY 80 for the System 80s. What I thought was so amazing was he ships you the bare PCB. There's nothing on it. There's no solder.
Just
there's holes. Board. Everything's ready for you to solder. It's a do-it-yourself kit. This has been out for years. I didn't know about it.
His kit. Sure.
Oh. Maybe not years, but maybe a year. I got so jazzed because I love do-it-yourself stuff.
You do. Hence the Alexa.
Yeah. So I dug into it. It's legit. People have their System 1 and System 80 games running.
Mm-hmm.
I did find a downside.
What's the downside?
The one...
We're going to go on.
The one downside is it's a Raspberry Pi, so it's an operating system. So you have to, when you power the game on, you have to wait 35-ish seconds for it to boot.
Okay. See, and to me, that's not even an issue. Like you were very upset about it, or you were taken aback. I don't know how else to say it. Like 35 seconds. What am I going to do with my life?
I almost didn't want to order it. I was going to order 3 for all of our system ones, and then I heard that. I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. And to me, I was like, 35 seconds? What? This solves all of our problems, and you're worried about 35 seconds? Just go pick your nose for 35 seconds and wait for it to come back on. Or like you have several machines, and usually when we turn them on, we actually turn on several of them at a time. If you just turn that one on first and start turning everything on, by the time you made it back to it, it would already be booted up and ready to fly again. And either way, for me, I can wait 35 seconds for this to solve all my problems. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you do is you get the board.
Wait, for one, how long does your longest machine take to boot up currently?
I want to say that is probably medieval, and that's easily 10, 12, 14 seconds.
Okay, because there's some machines that when you
and
said 35 seconds, Ghostbusters takes a long
10
time.
seconds.
Okay,
about I bet.
So when you said 35 seconds, I was looking at you like you were crazy. I'm like, what? Ghostbusters takes forever to load up. How long? What's the difference? But okay, all right.
The funny thing is, medieval boots a BeagleBone, which is a Raspberry Pi competitor.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense why they would be similar then.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit to boot because it's booting the OS, and then it has to get the LCD configured and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And the node boards on the playfield.
Either way, this is gonna be cool, and I used to solder motherboards and modify video game controllers back in the day. So I love soldering. So I do think that it'd be kind of fun to put this kit together. It'd be like the old days.
I forgot. Okay, so
that was my jam for a long time. I was really good at it.
So I hit this guy up because I was like, screw it. I'll order one. Because if I don't like it, Steve can have it.
Sure.
The other awesome benefit is that this is cheap.
Mm-hmm. Way cheaper than everybody else.
I'll break it down to US dollars because you have to import the board.
That is part of the issue.
The board is
important shipping.
About we're currently with the whole money translation. It's like $44. Then the BOM for all the parts that get soldered on, he had in German. For me to order them, I'd have to go through DigiKey or Mauser or whatever. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I asked him for the list 1 BOM. Exactly.
When you say that, our listeners,
bill of materials.
Okay.
So all the parts needed to be soldered onto the board.
Sure.
So he gave me that list with part numbers, descriptions. I manually went into DigiKey and made a whole new BOM that's clickable order from DigiKey for US people.
Interesting.
So he said he'd upload that. So the BOM is $22. So you're at 44 plus 22, and his shipping or his board is $44 shipped to your door.
Right.
So we're at $66, and then you have to buy Raspberry Pi, which is $35. With that, and that is the Wi-Fi one. I wanted Wi-Fi so I could connect to it remotely.
Interesting.
You can get a non-Wi-Fi one for I think $10 less.
Okay.
And that's the Zero. That's the Pi Zero, not the Big Pi.
Sure.
And
for our listeners, to compare this to another board that we've looked at before, the other boards we were trying to buy were $250, $300. They were a lot of money.
Yeah, I think I got the Niwum for, I want to say I could get it for $220, but you're over $200.
Right. So this was under half the price. And especially when it first starts out, because you're $40, and then you start adding all the pieces up, it starts adding up. But at the same time, it's still under half the price.
It's still under $100.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool part is,
and it's programmable. You can do anything you want with it.
Yes. So because it runs Mission Pinball Framework, you can change all the rules of a game. You could use this board to retheme Dragon into
whatever you wanted to do.
Lizard.
Okay. Your imagination, it just blows me away. Okay. Go on.
So a lot of people that re-theme these old games, so what they do is they sand the playfield down, put new art on, and then make new rules. They would use a board like this because they can remake the rules so the rules aren't old sucky rules.
Sure.
So it's not Lizard.
Right. Right.
It's Dragon 2 or whatever.
Yeah. Dragon Extreme Dragon.
Extreme Dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
Dueling Dragons.
Ooh, it's not bad.
So he can ship all the ROM chips for like I want to say sound and some other stuff, but he cannot ship the game ROM. That would be illegal. It'd be against copyright and all that.
Oh.
And the game ROM runs on the Pi. So he ships the physical ROMs that are not copywritten or whatever against the rules of selling a ROM on a Pi because it's not a real ROM chip. So you have to kind of either make your own code or source the ROM, the CPU ROM from...
Did we tie that down? Do we know where that is?
Yes.
Okay, good.
My legal excuse is we already own the games, so we just have to plug the chip in and pull the data
You're
off.
actually right about legal excuses. That's sweet of you. That's good of you. That's good of you to do that.
In reality, you can find them on the internet because like virtual pinball machines and MAME arcade cabinets emulate this already. Mm-hmm. So they have been acquired so that we can just drop the file, the CPU file, onto the Pi.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, don't have to burn a ROM. We don't have to rip a ROM. We don't have to burn a ROM. We just have to drop it into a folder on a Pi. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
The next cool part is I can put that ROM file. We can boot up Roller Disco. We can put a new ROM file, put it into Joker Poker.
Right.
Because all the chips are the same, I guess.
Right. That is super cool.
We might as well test your game first.
Yeah.
And then, because I don't have my game yet. My game is like 2-3 hours away. Mm-hmm. From driving distance, so I have to kind of
so you have to
create travel plans.
Sure. So my machine's already here. Test it out. If it works great and I like it, then I'll just purchase the same thing you did.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll both have our new boards in there. What do you want to call them?
CPU boards.
CPU boards in them.
So I made that bomb list for DigiKey US. He said he'd put it on the website. So in reality, you import it in via a CSV file. The whole bomb loads up. Click purchase, which I need to do. The board should be coming soon. Tracking on that is absolutely terrible, but he said he shipped it. I got to get my DigiKey order in. I have the ROM files. I need to order a Pi, and I'm ready to go. That's super exciting. I'm super pumped to do that. If it works, you'll have to do it, and then you can solder your own board up.
I'm excited about doing that, to be honest. It's been a long time since I've been soldered some other boards and stuff like that. So that's been a lot of pinball talk. So for anyone who's been glazed, I know there isn't more pinball news.
Why do you hate pinball?
It's not that I hate pinball, but I feel like for some of our listeners who maybe are deep into pinball. Here.
Wait. We're almost done with pinball talk.
Okay. One more thing.
Metallica code got updated. It's been on like 1.75 for years, and it finally dropped 1.8 like last week.
And for those who are not big pinball people, this is not DLC. This is this is a patch.
Correct.
Right.
When Metallica first came out, the code sucked. People actually did not like the game. It sold like crap.
Right.
Once the code got updated enough, people loved the game, and then it sold like bonkers. It must be done on the line, even though I want to say maybe this year or last year they renewed the license for one more year. I mean, what I paid for my game, I could sell my game and make money on it. The average price for Metallica Pro is $45,000 to $5,000. It's stupid, absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But it is a sweet game.
A lot of people love the game. The people that we play with all love that game. It's a good game. It looks good. It plays smooth. Obviously has some cool music in there.
Oh yeah,
not as cool as AC/DC, but decent.
How would you know what AC/DC is like?
Because I know what AC/DC is like.
I don't even know what it's like.
I suck AC/DC all the
1.8 had like 2 pages of updates, and it's like little bug fixes and little tweaks.
What kind of bugs are in there?
Like there'll be like a screen issue, right, where you hit a certain, or even a game glitch where if you hit 2 things consecutively, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's super minor. You or me would never ever notice.
Sure. Okay.
But like those crazy tournament players or people who really dive into the code and I hit this, it should have done this. Those people would notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, there's a lot of little bugs and fixes.
The biggest one for me is Grave Marker Multi-Ball is dropped by 1 hit. So you drop the 3 targets down, they're in a row, then you hit the Grave Marker, which is a cross, and you have to hit it a second time on my current code.
Which is a lot of effort. That's 4 times you have to hit that same target.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
You drop the 3 targets, which is a pain in the ass itself.
You should just be able to smack that last one.
Hit the last one, get the magnet to stick. Nope. You gotta hit one more time.
Yeah, it's
that shot is hard.
Right.
So they dropped that, and then they fixed. Oh, God, they could have dropped the Coffin Multi-Ball a bunch too, because I swear to God that's like 60 hits. At any rate, maybe they did, but I know the guys in Slam Tilt were talking about the fuel targets, and the cash-in for that got altered as well. Or maybe it was the... What's it called? CIU? Crank it up. This is how good I am with code. I love games. I love pinball. I love talking about it, but I'm just not deep into the code and rules. I don't go to tournaments. There's nothing for pinball up here. I mean, we are the 2 guys trying to push pinball in the public.
Pushing it, I guess. But there are a lot of people up here who definitely play it. But we're probably only 2 that are really talking about it. That's for sure.
Yeah. If we start a tournament up here, it's just going to be us ding-dongs making a tournament.
There'll be like 5 other people who show up probably.
Well, people will show up, but like we'll be the only 2 ding-dongs trying to make this thing work.
That's a good point. No one else would put the effort into it, that's for sure.
Did we talk about Black Knight? I got it up and running. Like we played a game.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. I knew there was a lot more content to talk about because you got Jokers, but you also got Black Knight up and running, and it plays good. Slow. It plays good.
It's dirty. The right flipper on the bottom needs to get rebuilt, but like the game functions. For some reason, the other week when I played it, the multi-ball lock up in the upper playfield ejected, and this time it didn't. So I wonder if there's a switch that...
It needs to be cleaned, probably.
Yeah, because it's not like the coil's firing a bunch, and the game still starts, so it seems like a switch isn't registering.
But I have to say, so I've never seen... I think I have seen this game before. What did Mike have down in with all of his big collection? Was that Black Knight 2?
I don't remember him having Black Knight.
Oh, he for sure had it. Or 2000, what do they call it?
There is a Black Knight 2000.
I think he had Black Knight 2000. And I wasn't... It might be this game. Either way. So I think I've seen it before, but I've never seen anyone get like a multi-ball with it or do anything cool with it. And when you got it up and running, you played it a little bit there to see how it works, as well as like trying to hit some different markers. Like you actually like just hand threw it into it to see what would happen. The light show on this game is epic. It's really cool. A lot better than I ever expected. I know like there's other games out there that have way cooler light shows, but I was not expecting it from this older machine.
Ghostbusters is a light show.
Yeah. And I think when you look at Ghostbusters, you automatically assume it's going to be a light show because look at all the colors all over it. But this thing, I was taken aback by how cool and the light show was, the sounds. I like the dramatic Dark Knight or Black Knight that's like taunting you the entire time. It's pretty cool.
I got the Coin Taker LED kit, and so the inserts are color matched. And so those inserts really pop with color, which really helps like the light shows and stuff. And I don't know about the GI. I haven't finished LEDing it, but
by GI,
general illumination of the playfield.
Right.
It's all nice and white. They brighten it up because if it was all incandescent, it'd be so freaking dark.
And it was dark when you first got it, but now it looks great.
Yeah,
and I think that's why I really loved it so much, is because when you put on all those new colored LEDs and stuff like that, it really just made that sucker pop like crazy.
Yeah, I do Coin Taker LED kits. I know they're expensive. They're overpriced because you can get your own LEDs and do your own colors and stuff. But the LED coin ticker kit it's not the clown barf. They usually do the general illumination and the general lighting in white, and then they color match inserts for you. And if there are color matched, like Tron has some color matched GI, but it's matched to my preference usually.
Sure.
Where like the left is blue and the right is the yellow.
Well, they do a
orange.
really good job. Whoever the person who's figuring out the right colors, they do a really good job. For instance, Batman. When you bought that Batman kit, the color in it.
Oh God, for the
awesome.
bar.
Yeah, Dark Knight. It looks amazing.
That game looks so much
It was night
better.
and day, the difference. I thought it looked okay and pretty good before. You threw those all those colors underneath there, and it just pops. It's so bright. It's so colorful. Everybody loves that game.
He got compliments after that.
Yeah, a lot of people complimented.
And then now that he has Sopranos, I'd recommend that as well for that. Just because you have like even on an old game, once you LED it, it looks new.
Right.
So now you have Batman, which is a newer game,
Mm-hmm.
and Sopranos is from 2005. That's a new game. But with the incandescents next to Batman with LED, It looks garbage.
Yeah, them sitting right next to each other, there is a dramatic difference in between the two. It almost makes you not want to even touch Sopranos, because right next to it is this big, huge, flashing glory hole over here.
He joked to me, he's like, "When are you going to update Sopranos?" I'm just like,
whenever I get around to it.
oh my God, I need more time. But at the same time, doing work at the bar sucks. Because you're in public. So when I pull the playfield up and I'm putting LEDs or I'm shopping a game out, I have a couple bar tables, or what do you call them, like barista tables next to me.
Sure.
But if people want to play darts, they take them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a workbench. I don't have a place for tools. I have to make sure, if I go to the bathroom, like, tell the bartender, like, hey, can you watch my bag and my jacket?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather, as much work as this is, pull the game, bring it to work or bring it home. Get the job done in 1 or 2 nights, like, working up till midnight or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And bring it back. Then they have to work on this game there. If you needed, like, the full shop with the rubber kit.
Yeah, if you needed the full shop. I mean,
Sopranos needs it, but
it definitely needs new rubbers for sure.
oh, the safe has one switch that doesn't work. There's a bunch of problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is Kevin mentioned, he's like, you better fix my Sopranos or our Sopranos before you fix the Rex.
That makes sense, and I know that it goes against what both of us wanted to do. Like, yes, I understand that you want yours fixed, but that we can make money off of this one or whatever. Anyways, so we were talking about
Metallica
Black Knight.
Oh,
we were talking about code originally. Oh, geez, we're on a bunny trail. I didn't realize.
this is the problem I have with you, Steve, is that we just go down these trails. They turn into like ant farms where we're just like.
I thought we were on a bunny trail. We're on like the side bunny trail. Okay, go on.
Bunch of updates from Metallica. I need to do it. We had a big fun playing night tonight, and I didn't update it, but I told everybody, they're like, did you update it? Like, no, I didn't. Sorry. It does take a while. Because what it does is it writes. It must read to verify the ROM on the USB. I think it verifies it, then it brings it over, or it writes it, then verifies it. But there's a verify check that I usually let happen just so you don't fuck your game up.
Sure.
And it frickin' takes, I don't know, 20, 40 minutes. So it's not one of those things where I could do it right now while we're doing this.
Sure.
But I'm not gonna do it after we're done.
Right.
I'll do it. Maybe tomorrow.
Just do it right away in the morning.
Yeah. Also, if people update their SAM or White Star games with the USB, maybe not White Star. Maybe it's just SAM games. Tron, I know, is USB. Lord of the Rings is not. That's a chip. So it's Metallica, Tron. You need to use an older USB stick for some reason, formatted FAT32. It's like a forward being updated for the sync menu system. Mm-hmm. It is very picky on what kind of USB is plugged into it. Highly irritating. Because there's a bunch of people on the forum that post up, this doesn't work, this is shenanigans, blah, blah, my game's broke, or my ROM chip's bad. And it's like, did you try this? What kind of USB stick did you get? Well, I just went and got a new one. Or I pulled out of a drawer, and it's like, find one that's like 4 or 8 gig that's from a long time ago. Format it, and you'll be fine. Sure enough, works. Same thing happened. I was trying to update the Focus RS, like Sync 3, to support Android Auto and stuff, and I had to go dig in a couple drawers and pull out an old like iMation 2 or 4 gig USB stick.
Was it different shaped?
No, these cars like like for cars. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for pinball, because we had to deal with this process when we were building our hardware at work. Car equipment has to have a life of minimum 10 years.
Oh, really?
And they have to support it for that long.
Well, that makes sense.
So you have to have very strong hardware. But guess what? Strong hardware is old hardware. Because it's proven.
Sure.
You don't want to take new tech. Like, they're not going to be throwing USB-C in a new car. Maybe today they would, but like a year or two ago. Because it's new tech. And
it's not verified.
It's not proven.
Right.
It has too many pins. And they have to have it. Your consumer-grade stuff, like if you had a USB-C Bluetooth speaker, that's consumer-grade. It's in your house.
Right.
A car, that board needs to be almost weatherproof and shockproof. It's almost like your car's equipment is almost not military grade, but it's getting there. We went down this path with our hardware product because like cell phone stuff changes so fast, but the processors that run in cars are just old as hell, and this is why the first gen Sync sucked and the hardware was slow as hell. Same with the Uconnect on the Jeep and Chrysler products. Because they needed solid hardware. Well, that stuff was old as hell.
Right. It's been proven, but that's because it's really old.
Yeah.
And that makes, I guess, I've always wondered that. I've always wondered why interfaces on cars have just been garbage for the most part, and that makes more sense. It's because it's old. That's why it feels like garbage.
Well, the hardware is old, so you can't have new flashy crap. Now all the new stuff is finally they're getting like multi-core processors and the ARM stuff, and Android pushing so hard and fast on their CPU stuff has helped get car, I think, CPU stuff going better. Because it's like Ford has switched, or when they went to Sync 3, they switched from Microsoft to a BlackBerry owns them. It's like QNX, which is a military grade like Unix OS.
Okay.
So it's very solid, it's very reliable, it's very resilient. So if it fails, it reboots itself and it rewrites the OS back from ROM. So it's very resilient. So you don't see a lot of failures with it. Their Sync 3, the initial one sucked in Fords, but the newest version has been really nice. I love it. I'm actually buying a Sync 3 head unit, like a screen, which has the module on it, and putting it in my wife's Ford Escape.
Cool.
To upgrade from Sync 2 to Sync 3.
Very cool.
Because Sync 3 is so much better.
That's neat. That's really cool.
You want to solder it for me?
Wait,
you don't have to solder it.
I was going to say, what would you need to solder on that?
You don't have to solder anything.
All right, so what's next on the docket?
We talked about fixing games. Oh, God.
Fallout 76. So moving into video games.
Steve rant.
Now
is this a mobile game, Steve?
Yeah, no. Very luckily for Blizzard, Bethesda came in there and saved their day by performing a lot of epic fails back to back.
So I'm gonna be the dumb person because I don't. You stay up on news a lot more than I do.
Sure. Now, go ahead. Now, either way, just so everyone, the listeners know, I have not experienced this because I have not played Fallout 76, and Parnell has not experienced because he has also not played Fallout 76. But if you go near the internet, you will know that Fallout 76 is a catastrophe.
So, Fallout 76 is announced, and then it's released, and all I know is, hey, it's this cool, what do you call those Fortnite games?
No. It's not. It's an online only multiplayer game.
Yeah.
But it's not
Battle Royale.
But
what
way, so the way that they kind of market it, they did kind of market it as like a Battle Royale, but it's not at all.
Okay,
it's a survival game.
That's what I thought. But then I saw it's survival. It looked neat. I have no interest in Fallout, so
Sure.
I stayed away. I didn't care. I don't have time for games, so. But I didn't really hear anything bad about it. I heard, hey, this is kind of cool.
Okay.
The only bad thing I heard was recently. I was reading the news in the morning on scrolling, flipping through Reddit,
Sure.
and someone brought up the whole
Crappy bag.
the final bag.
Yeah.
That is all I know that was bad about the game.
All right. So I will give a quick breakdown because it's not really attached to us. It's big news, but it's not affecting me because I didn't buy this game. But I almost did. I almost did. And here's the reason why I almost did. Okay, so this game came out.
So what?
And lead up to the game.
Should we explain the game? Well, you kind of did.
Well, it's a first person RPG survival game.
But it's in the Fallout universe, like Fallout 4.
Yep, and it's literally
you
a
play with
copy and
friends.
paste from Fallout 4, like when it comes to graphics.
But it's a massive multiplayer, right? Like you play with a bunch of there's people on the
online
servers.
only. I don't know how many people you can actually play against. It is a fairly barren wasteland, which is a major complaint from a lot of people of how barren this place is. But all the other games that have come before this, all the Fallout games are single player. You play through this big, huge, epic story, and this one has no story. And you, at least according to the people that review it, they're like, whatever story's here, it's in reality there's no goddamn story. So there's virtually no story. You don't really have anything to do. Like, they just kind of send you in the wild. Like, you just survive out there, have a good time. So it's a big sandbox to play in, but without a real big reason to fucking play, it gets really boring. There's not enough stuff out there to try to kill you and eat you, so people just wander around for a long time, bored out of their skull. They're supposed to either make friends with the other people that are on the planet, because all the NPCs, which are non-playable characters, don't exist. They don't exist anymore. They pulled all the NPCs out of the game. There are 0 NPCs in the game.
You kidding me?
So the only thing that are out there are some animals, very far and few in between apparently, and regular people. So there are actual people out there. But one thing that
it would only work then if you had just a server chock full of people.
Correct. So they stripped out all the NPCs, which apparently a lot of people loved. They thought they did a really good job with these character interactions, the way that they developed these NPCs. And they replaced them with real humans, thinking that would be better. Because, hey, what's better than an NPC but a real person that you can actually interact with? Well, the problem is, real people are assholes. So they're not going to help you. They're going to kill you and steal your shit or whatever. So there's apparently issue after issue after issue. So besides the fact that this is a very, 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 very boring game, according to most people.
Go on.
And everything that they loved about the games in the past, they stripped away and they made this into a completely different game. It's just online only. You just go out there and shoot some people or befriend them. Yeah, you can befriend them. It's possible. It won't happen, but it's possible. The major issue, besides the fact that it's boring, is that the game is so broken on release that it's unplayable.
Who owns Bethesda?
I think they're their own jam. I think Bethesda is its big deal. I think.
Are you sure EA doesn't own them? Because this sounds like Battlefront release.
It sounds like a lot of releases that have come out recently, but this, of recent date, has owned the cake for being an ultimate failure. And one of the big reasons is the lead up to this game. The CEO said over and over again in all these big interviews how, yeah, some of our games, when they get released, they got some bugs, and we've heard that issue. But don't worry. This one, when it comes out of the gate, it works. It just simply works. And he kept saying that over and over again. Like, this is done, and it's good. Don't even worry about bugs. This is mint condition. You're going to have the best, most fun time possible. And he just flat out lied. The game is so broken. It's so pathetic. It makes people just go in screaming outrage because they can't. Their servers drop all the time. Oh, that was another thing he said over and over again. He goes, "You won't even see a server," and people are just online, just showing clip after clip after clip. It's like, oh, it got dropped again. Looks like I'm gonna have to go back in the game. Oh, server issue. Oh, going back in the game. Oh, another server issue. Like sometimes, like They'll be in the game for like 5 minutes and get dropped. Like the most that they get to play is maybe 2 hours and then they get dropped. I mean, it's inevitable that you're going to get dropped.
Maybe they need to do a Windows update.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's inevitable that your game is going to crash, but that's just one bug, that your game will crash. Another bug is you'll be running around shooting people, and then there'll be no impact. You can just blast at them all day, and they'll just keep coming at you. They're not. There's no damage being affected.
Ooh,
the only way to fix it apparently is you have to restart the whole game.
But see, that's gonna make people rage because it's like if you came up to me and started shooting me and you were hurting me, but I shot you back and nothing happened.
Yeah. So they just have to quit out of the game and go back in.
Oh,
so people are just constantly quitting the game and going back in because of these. There's multiple over and over again. So many bugs. It's just bug ridden garbage. But with that said, technically it's a AAA title. I mean, technically, it's
only because of the name.
Right. It's a big AAA title that came out. It was supposed to be a really big deal. 1 week. Well, I think it was 1 week. It just came out. It's either 1 week ago or a week and a half ago, something like that. This game just came out. It has dropped from a $60 release to $35.
They're needing money.
They are so afraid and so desperate. I mean, this doesn't happen. Maybe in like a year you can find this game for like $35. This is a week ago. People bought this game a week ago.
Maybe it's just a Christmas special.
Well, I mean, it's possible. It might go up slightly after, this.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest, because people are not going to buy this game anymore. The rage online has happened. The tidal wave has hit. All you have left is people that have never heard of this game before, and they might check it out. Anyways, so a lot of Bethesda fanboys who have loved this series, who have loved the company for so long and thought that they could do no wrong, have just been destroyed over this and are just furious because they were lied to. And they bought a game that they waited many years for or whatever, and the game is garbage. And it's unplayable. You shipped a product that flat out was not ready to be released to the public at all. And you lied about it over and over again. About all the different things that you can do in the game, too. Like, there's just, like, if you want a full list, just go on YouTube, look for Angry Joe, look for any other reviewer that will gladly tell you a massive list of issues with this game and, game clips on top of it. But it's a big deal in the gaming universe right now, is the fallout from Fallout. And another issue is they stole a bunch of people's money, kind of, by they told everybody when you bought this big, huge, fancy $200 edition, you get this fancy helmet like in the game. You get this cool canvas bag that you can carry stuff in. You can even carry the helmet in there if you want, or just whatever you want to put in the cool canvas bag. Then there's a bunch of other little gimmicky stuff in there as well. Well, they shipped all the stuff out, and they didn't send a canvas bag. They sent this thin nylon Walmart style.
It's like pathetic, a vinyl, right?
No, it's nylon for sure. It's like this thin nylon, like $2 bag. And everyone's pointing out, like, you've blatantly false advertised. Like, it says on your page right now, I'm still looking at it. It's still up to date. If you look at it, it says canvas bag. And they sent this pathetic little thin thing that will break easily. Instead of this hardy canvas bag that was supposed to represent, them being out in the wilderness and stuff like that.
Well, especially for that hike in price.
Right.
Like
it's $200.
That's 4 times the amount of the game.
Right. So, yeah, you get a helmet. I'm sure the helmet probably costs a lot of money because for collectors, value and everything else. But there's the other items in there. This was one of the things, like, you just lied. You just flat out lied again, and you shipped me something that isn't the product that you said that you were going to ship me. So what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, so
they finally came back after, again, the internet is screaming, because they're screaming a lot at them right now, and the internet turned their attention to this. They're like, oh, has anyone mentioned the fact that the canvas bag isn't a canvas bag? so
that's all I knew.
Right, so they brought that up, and then so Bethesda's been trying to answer a lot of questions to date, and this was one of them, and they're like, yeah, about that. So we ran out, or we couldn't come up with the product or whatever, We weren't able to get a hold of it in time or something like that. So we shipped the nylons instead. If this is an issue, just go ahead and contact us, and we will send you a $5 in-game purchase code. You can buy some stuff in the game. Well, another major issue is about the in-game purchasing in this game. For $5, you can get like a hair bun, like styled like hair. That's the kind of crap that you get for like $5, like, or like a face tattoo. Something that's so trivial and so stupid, it should be free. If I'm going to style my character, why am I paying for hair? Come on now. It's insane.
So what are the other ones that are more money? Because I thought $5 was a lot of money for an in-game purchase.
If you want a blue paint job on like your battle armor, whatever you want to call it, to get a blue paint job, that is $18 for a blue paint job. It's insane. Like, they don't even know the concept of money. They're just like throwing numbers out there. Like, I think they'll pay $18 for blue. For
what was that game?
What are you doing?
Paladins. How much is like that type of stuff?
Honestly, I have to go back to look at it. I can't tell you.
Like a couple bucks.
It should be maximum like $3. Maximum.
Well, that's the thing, is like, make it something more people buy it.
Correct.
Than one person.
You nickel and dime them till you have a whole pocket full of money. You're like, I got you off of like all these little tiny things, and then you look back at the pile of money like, oh, look how many times I got you.
Yeah, like you got like, I mean, hair could be free, but you do the little paint things for $1, and then a big thing for a couple bucks.
It has to be like a big thing, like fancy weapons, fancy armor, fancy guns. It has to be something special to account for any kind of money, let alone $18 worth of money. Like, what do you? That's a DLC number kind of price.
Oh yeah, that's
you know
like $20.
$20.
So what's the most expensive thing in it?
It's a third of the price of the whole entire game, and you want blue paint? What the? Do you understand the concept of money? What's going on right now? So another goofy joke upon a joke upon a joke that they got going in here. So they released a buggy, unplayable game. They did not give you the stuff that you bought. And then on top of it, you can actually buy that canvas bag in-game if you want. But it's for $7. Again, which is already a ridiculous price for a stupid canvas bag. But on top of the fact, but just the simple fact that they gave you $5 in-game cash, and it's still not enough to buy the canvas bag that they were supposed to give you in real life, virtually. So it's just a joke upon a joke. But that's probably enough about Fallout 76. But yeah, it's a pretty big catastrophe that's been going on in the gaming world, and I don't know. This game is screwed either way. People aren't coming back to it. Like, they have finally come back and said, hold on, everybody. We have heard that there are a few issues out here, and it's like, a few issues. Your company is tail spinning right into the ocean, and you're just, yeah, there's a few issues. We're going to fix a couple bugs here and there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, your game is unplayable. People are falling literally through the earth in your game, or walking through stuff, unable to click on buttons if they're supposed to click on buttons to be able to advance into the game. You know, different stuff like that. But they said, we're going to come out, we're going to patch a few things here and there, blah, 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 blah. And we'll get this game up and running more. But don't worry, we're so happy that the millions of you guys are playing it, having such a great time. It's like, yeah, they're not having a great time. But I didn't know about a lot of this because I had been kind of staying out of it. I don't own the game. But when I saw that price drop to $35, I said, ooh, maybe I'll buy this game. And then I started looking into it before I actually tried to buy it, and that's when I've heard about all this nonsense, and I was like, I'm going to stay away from this game, I think. So, all right, what's next on the docket?
Was there another game that had problems?
Yeah, that was Blizzard.
No, well,
it wasn't a real issue. It was actually fine. They're releasing a mobile game, but everyone...
Well, they did it the wrong time.
Right.
They used the wrong platform to announce
completely. They marketed it inappropriately.
They tease and and leaked it as a
they
new
got
Diablo game.
PC gamers, their core base of fans. They got them all jazzed and excited for this new game, and then they said it's a mobile game, and then everyone in the audience was like, "What the fuck?"
Fuck? No, I think everybody was excited for like Diablo 4.
Right.
I mean it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's time. This is where you can tell that Blizzard, they teamed up with Activision, or Activision bought them or something, right? They are somehow partnered with Activision.
Yes, they're teamed up with Activision, yes.
This is where you can tell where Blizzard has lost their direction. Like, we now know that they're...
Well, it's about that Chinese money. All these companies now are trying to dive deep into this mobile market because China is such a huge mobile gaming community.
They're not, because of the lack of consoles that their country has had
and computers.
Yeah,
everyone has a cell phone because that's like their main computer. They use a cell phone instead of a PC or instead of a video game console, like Xbox.
Mobile gaming is giant there,
right?
Where over here, I would much rather game on a console. But
so that's why everyone now is desperately trying to get into this mobile market over in China. Like, do you realize how much money we can make over there right now? And as a result, they shoved it in the face of European and American PC players trying to sell this game. I'm like, look at this amazing experience. And they're looking at it, I'm like, you got us this hyped up for this?
And it was their main stage
opening thing that they did.
Release.
Yep. It was, yeah.
If they would have
tagged it on at the end,
no. I mean, they could have teased Diablo 4, and that was it. If they would have released this mobile game silently on a Tuesday, no big deal.
Which is probably what most companies have done. I think that it is a good game. I think that you could have done a little promotion about it, but you had to stuff it in amongst the other big news, or
at the end of the the real big news.
Right.
Your core game news, do that first.
Right.
Do all your big PC stuff.
Right.
Then at the end, at the tail, announce a mobile game.
If you want to do a marketing blast over in China and show how amazing this game is, do it. Or on YouTube. YouTube's a big place to market this thing. Market the heck out of it on YouTube. But
so that whole announcement pissed them off. But then people started diving deep into the trailer, found out it's like a reskin of a Chinese RPG game.
Yeah, it's very similar, very close to another game that already exists, because the real company that made it, not Blizzard owns the rights to all this different stuff, and maybe they character designed some stuff, but in reality, the actual people on the ground who are putting this thing together is an already mobile company that have their own game, and it looks the same as their own game. And it's like, wow. You're just remarketing that other game over there, but you just put your characters in there.
Yep.
And fans got pretty pissed about that too. Like, you got us this hyped up for this fancy Diablo game, and it is this free game over here that I can get right now from the same producers and all this different stuff. I don't forget who's the new, the actual mobile producer, but so that was the big news for about 3 weeks or something like that, and then Bethesda came in and stole all their thunder. So
that's the thing, is
Blizzard's very happy that Bethesda did this.
And this is the same in the pinball world, where like bad news drops and everybody thinks it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
No, it's the end of the world until the next big news, which may be a week or so.
Right. That's the internet and Twitter for you. People jump on each other's throats all the time, and it's over nothing. And a lot of it comes down to, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
And that's the thing, is like the Diablo mobile game, actually might be kind of fun.
I think because I'm a mobile gamer, I'm gonna love it.
Do you think they're gonna sell it, or is it gonna be that free to play with like the little mini in-game?
No one knows,
purchases?
but because it's a mobile game, everyone assumes that it's just gonna be cheap, if not free. It will be fairly cheap. It's not going to charge you $30 for it or something like that. Let's say they charge you $5 for it or $6 for it. It'll be fairly cheap, if not free, but then they'll charge the hell out of you when it comes to in-game purchasing. Just like every other mobile game does.
Yeah, which is fine, because then you can still play the core game without all this fancy little junk that actually doesn't change anything. It's just kind of like visual effects. Mm-hmm. And Diablo might be, since it's like an online world might be the best to do that. Where when I change my character's look, everybody else sees it.
I think I'm gonna love this game. I really do. I like Diablo. I like that series quite a bit. This is a new addition to the series. They've said over and over again that this is a full-blown game. This is not just some little trinket mobile game. Like they put a lot of effort into it. They've said, counter to what people on the internet have said, that people on the internet have said it's just a reskinned piece of crap made by these other people. They said, no, we put a lot of effort into the story, put a lot of effort into this game. This is a full-blown, like, real game, like you'd get on PC, but it's built for mobile. So that makes me excited about it. I've already got it I don't know what you call it. It's not pre-bought, but it's like preloaded on the Android.
Oh yeah, you got on the list. I don't know if they're doing a beta or whatever, but they were like,
well,
it was like pre-announced.
So I do this quite a bit for like new games that are coming out that I get teased. You can go in there and like pre-register. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Pre-register for it, so that way when it releases, it can automatically download for you. And so I'm excited for it. I am going to play it. I do understand why it got crapped on, because there's a very inappropriate place to bring it up, get people hyped up for something, and then slap them in the face
that's
with
what
something
I meant,
they're
like,
not expecting.
This is not the normal Blizzard anymore. Like Blizzard's the old Blizzard that we all know and love is gone. Well, we now have Blizzard being directed by people who have no idea who their audience is.
Well, they're making money. And that's what their attention is that's what their attention is focused on, is money. They saw a bunch of money over in China and said, we can totally get that, instead of focusing on their crowd of fans that are already standing here, that have spent so much money on their products already and loved the history of everything that they put into this. And I think that's why their fans got so upset. Yeah, but it's like, you completely ignored us. We are here. We spent hundreds of dollars to stay in a hotel, to come to your show, to get all hyped about the stuff that you're going to tell us about. And
but that's the whole thing, is like Blizzard, the old Blizzard was, they would only make quality games. They canceled so many internal games.
Yes.
They knew their core gamers. They knew their audience. This new marketing lead or director of the operations of the game company, they're cash grabbing, but they've lost who they're supposed to be. At BlizzCon, you're fucking at BlizzCon, your announcement center.
Correct. You have a
you should know who those people are.
Correct. A convention full of people who are cosplaying and excited about your stuff, and then they came here and they're just so pumped and they're so ready to hear what the new stuff is that you've got, and all it is a cheap, free-to-play mobile game.
Yeah, that was a big miss.
Yeah.
But speaking of just events, Sony has pulled out of E3, they said.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They do have their own show, though.
Right. They don't have too much to bring to E3 in the first place.
Why not?
I mean, new games coming out or new products coming out. They don't really have a whole lot. They have like a new controller.
Well, what about Xbox? I mean, they don't have a ton of new stuff.
I don't know. Do you know why they're pulling out?
I had an idea. So since PlayStation and Xbox, every year the media hypes everything up, and every year they pick who the winner was, who won E3.
That's right.
And so we'll start. If you remember, E3 was like 3 days.
Correct.
What you saw happening the last 5-7 years, Microsoft would announce something new a day earlier.
Yep.
And then Sony the next year would announce something a day earlier. And all of a sudden E3 is a week long of announcements. The the game show or the floor might not be open, but they're at an announcement auditorium.
Right, like across the street.
A week early. Mm-hmm. Announcing new tech, and every year they have to make it bigger. And do you know how much money it costs to go to E3? Mm-hmm. For them? Mm-hmm. I mean, for us, it was a ton of money. Mm-hmm. For them, they're millions of dollars.
Right.
For a booth.
Right.
It's a big investment, but then you're just put on a pedestal. You have to be stressed out. You have to plan. And you have to plan over 6 months in advance, because you have to do booth design, you have to do what you're going to show there. So then you have to have, you have all these new games being shown,
right?
And you want to show off X new games. If they're not going to be released by E3, you have to have a stable build if you want to show the prototype off or the demo.
Correct.
And so you're now planning all your software and hardware on E3, right. Which honestly isn't a good way.
No, correct. Agreed. You should be focusing on just building the game properly instead of just trying to rush a simple little demo thing to get out there, just pulling people off of the work that they should be doing.
Now, do I think they should have pulled out? No. I think they should have... And this is it's a double-edged sword. Don't pull out because people want to go to E3 to see you there. You're a big player in the market.
Correct. You're part of the trilogy. You got Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation.
However, if you go and you're not showcasing big shit like Xbox, you're now, you're the loser. Microsoft obviously won this E3.
Right.
Which, that's the media doing that.
Right.
However, Xbox and Nintendo are now cross-playing, and Sony still doesn't want to.
They kind of are now.
Yeah, they are, but they're very heel-dragging.
But they're only doing it with one game.
Fortnite? Yeah. They're heel-dragging the shit out of it.
Yeah, they don't want to crossplay. Xbox is
so
totally in it with
why to go to an event where they're all there? I mean, they might actually have people go, but they're not, and maybe they do have a little mini booth for meetings, but they're not going to have a big booth.
Right. Nintendo has kind of already done this. They've already pulled out their majority of their booth, the majority of all their stuff, spending all the money and getting all wrapped up in E3. They've pulled most of that back. They only have a small presence there to show off some newer games and stuff like that. But they've pulled back heavily. So it really kind of came into, and they do their own show.
I don't remember what it's called.
Cheaper,
it's like PlayStation something.
No, I'm talking about Nintendo.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Nintendo has their own show in advance, probably like a day or two ahead of E3, that they can produce way cheaper in a controlled environment, not have to worry about anybody else, way less stress, way cheaper. They do have a tiny presence at E3 to continue to be there. I think that is probably the best way to go forward for maybe PlayStation, but PlayStation is not even going to be there at all. And I think that they should at least have something there. Show off some new games, anything.
Isn't it interesting? So we've been kind of kicking around that nostalgic retro gaming and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just got Crash Bandicoot for Switch. And the PS1 Classic just dropped, which is also a bunch of news that we should talk about. But do you remember in PlayStation 1? They mocked the shit out of everybody, well, mostly Nintendo, with the Crash Bandicoot. Like, he would go up to Nintendo with his little loudspeaker and make fun of Nintendo for not having, like, all this 3D stuff and look how cool my game is.
No, I don't remember those commercials.
They were pushing the envelope on competitors.
Sure.
Of calling them out.
Sure.
And now look where they are. They're retreating from the media, like, from all these outlets, and they're not wanting to play nice with other big companies. Mm-hmm. They're pulling out of the big media outlet of E3. Mm-hmm. Their PS1 Classic is going to fail. So
are they even going to release it?
Oh yeah, no, they're releasing it.
Okay, because it almost sounded like they weren't going to release it.
It's like Fallout. The community is making it a failure because of what they did.
I think that they're going to come out just fine for the most part, but they're just pulling almost because they're too big to fail. The reason why that's kind of the reason why I say that. This year, or not this year, but this generation of PlayStation owns the hill, and they're looking down at Xbox and they're looking down at Nintendo. Whereas Nintendo in the beginning they were the king of the hill. Then it went to Xbox for a little bit, and now it's up to PlayStation. PlayStation owns the hill. So they're looking down at the other two, and I think that they almost feel too big for their britches. And maybe they are too big to fail. But I think they just keep pulling kind of almost foolish move back to back.
Yeah, we'll see. We've talked about this before where I said they might own this generation. And I'm glad. Like, the PS3 wasn't a failure by any means, but it definitely failed to 360.
Yes.
PS3 at the end of its life was really good, which too good, too late. But the PS4 definitely dominated this generation, But
I don't
if
think
they
they're gonna
don't
own the
fix
next
the
one.
problems that
I
we've
agree.
pointed out, they're going to fail this next gen.
Correct.
And it will be way easy for Microsoft and Nintendo to just swoop them up and spit them out.
Right. And Nintendo is just on such a bull rush recently. They're selling way more units than Xbox and PlayStation. Maybe they'll take the next generation with their...
Isn't this funny?
Yeah.
It's a freaking mobile... The funny part is, even on the pinball forum, there's like a arcade, like a Switch thread. And one guy who must never play video games outside of his little Xbox world
Sure.
is saying stuff like, Nintendo's always been for kids. It's always a kiddie. No one. This is so stupid. Why would you buy this? And it's
Well, you're just not paying attention, obviously.
Conker's Bad Fur Day on 64. That was an adult game.
Mm-hmm.
L.A. Noire is on the Switch. There's always like Resident Evil 4 was exclusive to the GameCube.
Doom.
Yeah, there's been a ton of adult games.
Here's the thing. There are so many games. There's already literally 1,300 games on Nintendo Switch, and I didn't realize that number was that big because every now and then I think I want a new game or whatever, and it crosses through my head like there's no new games. What do I? Because I'm always looking for like these big AAA titles that are brand new. Maybe these brand new ones aren't popping out in my face. Although right now I have too many games to play, and that's a big issue for me because I don't know which one to play sometimes. But I was looking into the other day, or I was on Twitter the other day, and they had just surpassed like 1,300 new games on Nintendo. I was like, well, I have no excuse ever to say I have no game, to find. Like, maybe just pick a genre, start walking through it, and just figure out what's good here.
What I was going to say was Nintendo caters to everybody.
Yes.
They don't cater to, like, Xbox is pretty much, teenagers to adult males in my head.
Right.
Like, they really push to that audience of younger people.
Mm-hmm.
Hardcore gamers.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation, same thing. They kind of are now pushing toward those exclusive console hardcore gamers. Where Nintendo's like family plus 20-somethings and fun.
Right.
Their core is like fun family, and then they have everything spread out around. The adult-specific games are a little bit smaller group, like Doom and stuff.
And Warframe, like we got Warframe on there right now. It's a great game. I mean, it's on all the other platforms. I think it's also on PlayStation for that matter. I think it's across the board. It doesn't crossplay, but it is on all platforms.
Yeah, and this console is vastly has a vast array of way more games than any other Nintendo console.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We are seeing way more variety that are on all consoles, like Warframe, Fortnite, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where the older consoles were pretty. You'd have a lot of exclusives, and the games that were on everything, like Madden and stuff. They, I think, even stopped making them for the Wii and stuff like that, like because the Nintendo ports of whatever game, like Madden and stuff, they wouldn't sell well. Like, why make a game that'll sell 1,000 copies when we can sell it on PlayStation and Xbox?
Yeah.
And sell millions.
Right.
And it costs XYZ to do your gold print.
Yeah, it's literally not worth our time to make it.
Exactly. Like the Wii U was a huge failure. People just went. There was a lot of companies. I don't remember who it was. If it was EA. They just said at the launch they were huge supporters, and then when no one really bought their games because no one bought the console, they're like, why would we make games when no one is buying them?
Yeah.
But then Wii U is. I just got into talking to somebody about this the other day. Was the Wii U is the ultimate Nintendo console. It can play Wii games stock. It can play Wii U games. Then you have the whole classic download thing through Nintendo legally. But if you hack a Wii U, you can play Wii, GameCube, 64, all the old stuff from Wii back. Emulated on it.
Sure.
But the GameCube, the hardware plays it obviously because the Wii is built in, but like it just runs it. So you can run like every Nintendo console prior to the Wii U on the Wii U. It's an amazing console. It's going to be a giant collector's console for those retro people.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I never really played it very much, but if you look at it for what it is a wonderful system. the fact that you can have these two screens, like one in your hand, one up on the actual screen. It's a very cool idea. And then obviously they took it one step further with the Switch and said, well, what if we just don't use the top screen? We just have our own, always handheld, and you can dock it, and that pulls it right into the other screen. It's a Switch is definitely the next evolution of the Wii U.
Speaking of evolution, did you see, I don't know if it was like eBay Japan or whatever, but they had, someone had found like prototype Wiimotes that were designed on GameCube?
No. I haven't heard this.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So there were prototypes already on...
There were prototype Wiimotes for GameCube.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, because like you just said, they keep kind of tweaking it, and evolving, and coming up with the next cool thing. So it makes sense that those would exist. Are they like very far and few in between, or are they just like only prototypes?
Oh yeah, there was like maybe 2 in existence. Like
okay.
2 sets.
Gotcha.
This one came up, and then some dev talked about it, and they're really rare, and they're corded. So like it's not like it's like this. While it's very prototypey.
But either way, they exist. That's kind of cool.
And if you look at the Switch, it looks like a Wii U gamepad. I mean, the back grips and stuff. They're not as apparent, like physically molded, but like you said, it's a very... You can see the evolution of it.
Yeah, piece after piece.
The GameCube Wiimotes look very similar, but they're not the same. The
Right.
Wiimote for the Wii, you can tell they spent a lot of time designing. But it also makes sense that the Wii was able to play GameCube games because it was at the end of that GameCube life.
Yeah.
The Wii was just a juiced up GameCube.
Yeah.
I love seeing and hearing about like the history of that stuff. It's one of those things where like you hope that they make a book or something about the process that they were going through, because you kind of want to hear about the ideas that they were having. Nintendo's always been really good about being ultra creative and coming to market with it. Where like Xbox, they have HoloLens. I mean, they might have come to market with it, but what was that, like thousands of dollars?
Right.
I mean, it's not viable to most consumers.
Right. It's extremely expensive, and there's no programs really for it. They released it without programs, basically for developers to play with, and then you guys can create whatever you want with it. And as cool of an idea as that is, it's like, well, I think a lot of people were excited to get basically a full-blown computer that I can put on my head and be living in a virtual world.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ready. Like it's still not ready. Like people have, it's just been in like beta essentially since, I don't know, was it 3 years ago when they released or something like that? I think it was 3.
Well, they did the same thing with that Surface table. That was beta for...
Oh, yeah.
People sold them for developers, but it never came.
Right. So like, they keep showing cool things that you can do with it. Even the Kinect. It was viable and people used it with the Xbox, but they would keep showing all these cool, amazing things that like professors are doing with it and stuff like that, or doctors. And those programs only exist if you are like a developer and you create that. Well, it's like, well, how many people on the planet are actually doing this? Like, you guys are really hyping up something that doesn't ever get used.
A couple hundred people.
Right.
The PlayStation did really well with being creative with their Move system, which I think failed.
Well,
it worked with the PS4, but it really... Because you have to have it for the VR.
Well, same with the Kinect. The Kinect was a hands-free version of the Wii and the PlayStation.
That Kinect failed hard because they don't... Do they even sell it anymore?
No, they do not.
Yeah, they've ended it.
They closed it entirely. The Kinect does not... You cannot buy any new Kinects. So, the Kinect failed kind of on the Xbox 360, but there are a lot of games that they made for it. There's a lot of games that...
Oh, that's where Rare went.
Yep.
They went from making sweet games to Kinect games.
And there was some cool gimmicky things that a lot of people added into their games. Like, for instance, Mass Effect 3, you can talk to your companions and tell them to do stuff through the Kinect. I've used it a couple times myself. I thought it was really cool. But I didn't use it as much as my thumbs. Like, you can command them to go do it.
Oh, sure.
It's actually faster to do it that way because it's more... Because it wasn't real good mic-wise, if you asked them to do something and they didn't hear it, well, they might not move right away. You know what I mean? So it's easier just to if you can just hard command them to go over there, they'll go right now. Anyways, so they had a lot of cool games in the 360 era. When it came to the Xbox One, they didn't make shit for it. I don't think there's one game out there for the Xbox One that is made for the Kinect. And if it is, someone would have to, I guess, comment on our podcast, tell me what it is. I can't think of any games that, one, even use it, two, that are made like directly for it. I'm fairly certain that there's no games that are made directly for it. Like, this is one of these cool like kids games where you can like pet a lion or something like that with it. Whereas they had a lot of that kind of stuff back in the 360 era. Like, they had Star Wars had one. There was a couple pet games that had them. A lot of sports games.
Oh, come on, dude! Dance Central.
But is that for the Xbox
Just
One?
Xbox One.
Oh, really? Okay, so never mind. I'm wrong. There are some dance games out there that have it.
Xbox Fitness? Come on, man.
You're right. Oh, yeah, fitness. Now that you're saying this, I can remember the first E3 when they released it, because they released a bunch of games now.
It's sad. I just Googled it quick, Xbox One Kinect games, and there is nothing that looks remotely cool.
Yeah, just dance, just a couple sports games.
I mean, there were some cool games on the 360, I remember.
I think they spent a lot of money on the fitness one, because I think they hired like celebrities to do it.
I thought there would have been a Viva Pinata, because that was a big 360 game.
They used the Kinect?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd they use it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that it was big.
Okay.
I think there was a Kinect version somehow. I bought a friend's old Kinect for Xbox One so that I could do streaming for the mic and the video.
You know a game that I always wanted to play? Two games.
Hydro Thunder.
Okay, no, that what? No, there's two Kinect games that I always wanted to play, but I never did. There was this cool like mech game. It was a big title before it ever came to the 360, and it, obviously is an older game, so it had a. In the olden days, whenever that came out, and when I say olden days, I mean like the 90s. I think it was like on like a PlayStation 1, and it had this. Apparently, it's a whole bunch of like a wraparound bunch of gear, like with like a steering wheel or at least joysticks and buttons, a whole rig.
Are you talking about Steel Battalion?
Yes.
Did they make that for Kinect? Oh my god, they made it for Kinect?
Correct. So before, you had the whole entire rig, and then I loved the commercials for Steel Battalion on, I hope this is the game that I'm not just lying to people right now, but when they would show the commercials for the Kinect using it, it just gave me a huge boner, and I wanted to play that game so bad, because this kid walks in, he sits down in front of his TV, the Kinect turns on, and then he like opens a hatch, like he's like miming all this different stuff, and like in the game, the guy's opening the hatch. He's standing out of his like mech or tank, whatever, and he's opening fire. He's doing all this. This is it. All right, so right now we're pulling up the trailer. Now watch this trailer. This is so cool. So the Kinect comes on. He opens up Steel Battalion.
This is on 360.
Yeah.
So this is old.
Look at the graphics. The graphics look good. So he's is he in a tank or it's a tank.
Or it's a boat or something.
But either way, like, see how he stands up there? He opens the thing. He raises his hand. Binoculars come up. He's swiping. He's looking at his friends by swiping back and forth. That's cool.
He's sitting there.
Yeah.
And so that means he's in the vehicle.
Correct.
When he stands up from the couch, he pops through the hatch. And if he raises his arm to his face like binoculars pop up.
Yeah.
And then when he sits back down, he swipes left and right, and that's where his crew is.
Yep. He can.
Wow. This is like full-on utilization.
This is amazing. I really want to play this game because it's fully like, I don't know what do you say? Like, it just enwraps you in this environment. Oh, he's physically punching somebody right now. Come on. Oh, that's super cool.
Wow. So when I think the original Steel Battalion had that big, huge, it's not a keyboard, but it's like a big command system with two joysticks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're rare, and they go for big bucks.
Big bucks.
Because they're big command units.
Mm-hmm.
But the game is... People love it.
Right.
People want that.
So I think that they were hoping that this would be a big deal, and don't know if it was. The commercial, to me, was a big deal. I never bought it.
Why wouldn't you ever buy it?
I don't know.
You were big on Connect, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I use my voice a lot because I just like I do nowadays. I talk to my phone all the time. I got Alexa units hooked up to everything. I have it hooked up to my Xbox. Like last night, while I was putting the kids to bed, I told Alexa, turn on my Xbox and open up Destiny 2. So while I was doing that, it was loading that all up for me. So I was all ready to sit down.
Do you know what
done.
is really lame? They did not have backward compatibility for Steel Battalion.
Well, for what? What do you mean?
Xbox One to 360.
Well, that is stupid.
Because
their new Kinect is apparently way more powerful than the old Kinect.
Oh, yeah.
Like 3 times as powerful or something like that. So it would be probably a lot better. But
I don't have a Kinect for 360.
I used to. Actually, I don't think I even have my 360 anymore. I think I sold it to my brother. So I don't think I even have one anymore.
Oh my god, we can't even play this.
Well, we can buy one for probably 20 cents. It's not that hard.
20 cents?
Yeah, just like we're going to get $1 trillion for our pinball machines. These numbers are really accurate.
I like the way you think on sound stuff.
So the second game that I really wanted to play, Connect-wise.
How the fuck we get on Connect?
I know. It's just, I'm loving this bunny chill right now. Let's just stay on it for a moment. The other game I really wanted to play was this like mage
babysitting game.
No, it was this mage version of Fable.
Oh yeah, I remember they had a Fable game.
Yeah, it looked super cool. So like Fable, I love the Fable series. I think it's
The Journey.
Yep. This is also a ton of fun to watch because the guy is throwing fireballs at people and like pulling them and all its cool stuff. It looks epic. So I always wanted to do that, and I always wanted to play Steel Battalion. So those are the 2 games that if I ever do go back and try to download some or play some of this stuff, I'm definitely going to buy those 2 games.
So we've been talking Xbox Connect, but when the PS Move came out, on PS3,
yeah,
I bought it used after the fact.
Did you get the cool gun?
No.
Okay.
I got a bunch of the handheld things and then the little camera.
Mm-hmm.
My big one was the sports game that had, it was kind of like a bunch of sports games that had like the disc golf, which was super fun, and like volleyball. But what I got really hyped for was sorcery. You were like Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
And you were in this world where you were
holding
magic.
Like a wand.
Yeah. I was so excited for it. But the funny part was at the place where I was working at, my cube neighbor, her friend was actually working to make the game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it was kind of neat to have that connection somehow. I never talked to him, but to know someone.
But you liked this game. You were excited about this game, and then come to find out somebody that you know actually knows a person who works on it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't know if I ever even bought it. I have the Move still, but it's boxed up.
I think that's maybe one of the big reasons, or at least it's a reason why I like Gears of War so much, is because we ended up being in contact and talking to a lot of people who worked for Gears of War when we did our stuff.
It definitely adds a layer of complexity and connection to make you like it.
Right. I mean, I liked it already. I think I was a big fan.
You were big because of the books and stuff.
Yeah. I was already deep into the lore already, and then add on to the fact once we started kind of getting involved into that a little bit, that really solidified it. It was like, oh, we're part of this now.
Yeah, like we're on the Unreal team.
Yeah, exactly.
What do we got next? Speaking of, we should drop at that retro store down the street.
We want to look at.
I don't know.
Okay, you just want to stop in there and see what kind of new games that they have.
Man. You know what happened to me? I dug out of my oh god. So my daughter likes to walk holding on to the entertainment center.
Sure.
And she opens the doors and then just starts pulling everything out.
Yeah.
One side is our movies and one side is my video games.
Sure.
And in my video game, I had
what games do you have in there?
I have some PlayStation 3 stuff because I used to have the PS3 up there for the Blu-ray player.
Okay.
Wii, so I had my top Wii games up there, and then Wii U and Switch. And then I had the SNES Classic and a bunch of the controllers like for GameCube and stuff.
What do you have currently hooked up to your TV right now?
A Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I just plugged in my Wii U again.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So, because she kept pulling the game... This is where my story was leading. She kept pulling the games out. And all of a sudden I see Excite Truck hit the floor. And I was like, oh, I was going to bring in Star Fox for Wii
which
U
we still haven't played.
For you to play.
Yeah, I need to play this game.
So, I was like, oh, shit, I want to play Excite Truck again. So I pulled the Star Fox games out for Wii U for you, and then I grabbed Excite Truck and Excite Bots, which I had up there. And I booted my Wii U back up and started playing Excite Bots because, you know, it's like the spiritual successor. And a lot of people, even on Reddit, like hype it up to be better than Excite Bot or Excite Truck. Fucking false. It is a great game on its own. It is not a spiritual. I would not say it is a successor. Like you should skip Excite Truck and just play Excite Bots because it has everything plus better. It's its own weird game that is clunky and annoying with the mechanics of Excite Truck.
Okay.
If you want if you like Hydro Thunder like me, and you want that pure crazy racing, screw Excite Bots. That game slows you down all the time to do these stupid maneuvers. I can get into it, but like Excite Truck
is just pure arcade racing.
It's a pure arcade racing, and the only complaint was people were saying like when you do 2-player, there's no bots. There are no MP like CPU racers. It's just you and the other person.
Oh,
so it's a little empty. However, and then there's no replay value. You fucking kidding? You try to get S on every single track, it's going to take you a little while. Replay is just playing the damn game over to 100% it. Because there is a bonus track at the end when you unlock everything. Mm-hmm. And it's like this crazy space game. Is it repetitive? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it definitely is. But
yeah, but so are all those racing games.
Yeah, but it is a perfect callback to those old arcade racers.
Sure.
And that's what I wanted. So that's why I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Excite Bots, when you boot it up, it looks the same. It's the same graphics. It's the same menu system.
Why do they call it bots?
They must have been on fucking acid when they made this. So they're like
Transformers?
Pretty much. They're mechanical animals that have wheels on their feet.
Really?
And this is the good stuff. When you
start
like
a
race,
Rat Trap from Beast Wars.
Sort of. Okay, let's just go through. So you boot the game up.
Sure. And
just like Excite Truck, you gotta do training first. So you go to training, and it shows you a couple moves. And on Excite Bots, there's more moves. Like you can do more spins in the air. And now they've added these like poles, and you can't freaking bypass them. Your little hook comes flying out of your car, and it hooks onto the pole. And some poles you spin a bunch, and you have to move your Wiimote in a circular motion to get momentum, and then it goes wow, 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 and then once your meter builds up, you release.
Oh, so this is not even a racing game anymore.
These are the parts that slow you down, and it's irritating as hell.
Sure.
Then there's other bars where you get one loop, and you have to do the motion with the remote, and then push forward at the bottom to correctly launch from the bar.
Sure.
So you pick then you pick an animal. Once your training's done,
and
that's your car, and they have different, specs on the animals.
Sure.
So a bat is like really fast and light.
Okay.
A turtle is medium
Powerful.
but very grippy.
Sure.
But when the race starts, you pick your color, of course. When the race starts, they're all walking. Like
walking?
Yeah, they got like little sticks with their butt. They're kind of waddling on two. They all stand up on their two hind legs and they're walking. And then it's like beep beep, and then they all drop down to the car mode, and then you race.
Oh. How could they even consider this to be a successor? This isn't even the same game at all.
No, but
they shouldn't even call it the same. They named them too close to each other, for that matter.
The game engine's the same.
Ah, okay.
And even some of the tracks are so similar.
Okay.
So then there's there was a lot of cool ideas in the game that they could have made a sequel to Truck. They had,
but they were trying to go for a brand new thing altogether.
Oh god, yeah, and I'm glad I bought it. It's enjoyable
for what it is.
But if you are looking for the racing, don't play this game.
Sure.
You have to be in the right mood.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's certain power-ups now where like you hit this power-up and all of a sudden this dart comes flying on a little arm, comes flying above your car. And you have to throw it at a dartboard that you drive by.
Oh, really?
Right, randomly on a racetrack. Or you hit a little box and the bowling pins light up. And
what happens if you don't throw it at the...
You don't get extra points. Like those,
okay. So it won't like dock you or slow you down or prevent you from moving forward.
No, but the thing is, like, when you are racing, you have to collect. You get stars for doing tricks, winning first place, throwing a dart at a dartboard.
For you to get the S rating.
And then that gives you a rating. Sure. And so to get an S rating, you have to have, I think it's about 50 stars above what is the minimum requirement to beat the track.
For those who don't know what an S rating is, a lot of on tracks, like there's several racing games, including Sonic, you complete a level and you can get different letter ratings, like A, B, C, D. You know, like in school. But then above A is S for what? Super.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know why they.
I don't know why they've chosen S, but I'm assuming it means super.
So when you get everything S class track wise in Excite Truck, it like unlocks that special track. They also I like when they do this too because like they unlock cars and colors for your car based on like if you have to drive this car and get an S rating on this track. Hydro Thunder does it too for their skins.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fun because you then maybe you pick a truck that you're not familiar with till you 100% the game. You pick a truck you're not familiar with or a boat,
sure.
And you have to go do something that is out of your realm.
Yeah, it pushes you out of your comfort zone.
But it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's new.
Otherwise, you might have never even done that.
Yeah. I wouldn't have.
Right.
What else was there? There was like random some boxes just give you stars. That's dumb.
Sure. I guess, yeah.
Then there's another box that makes you like a power walking beast mode. You just plow through trees, but you transform into the walking mode, which looks like.
Because this is an off-road game.
Yeah, this is the Excitebots.
Yeah,
and you just waddle, but you have fire flying out, and so like trees break, and you're just blowing through the map, but you honestly can barely maneuver because it's motion control. You tilt the controller. Excite Truck felt very controllable. Excitebots, like I raced as the Bat as my first car. Almost unplayable, like all over the map, super crazy. Anyway, good game to play, but if you're looking for the racing only, don't play the bots.
And did you play the Star Fox game ever, or not yet?
The Wii U one?
Yeah,
I played the first mission.
Okay, but that's about it.
Yeah, it definitely is. The main complaint, which all the reviews say, are it's hard to get used to looking up at the screen and the gamepad because they each show different, and you have to use both. And
it's
also the controls. But if you also watch every review, they say once you get used to it, it's amazing.
It sounds like it. I mean, I really do want to play this. Like, you brought it in the office for us to play and check out, so I really totally want to check this out, as well as a little cool side game that comes along with it, which has its own case, which I was not expecting. I thought it would be like in the same game, like on the same disc, but it has a separate disc, and that is
Star Fox Guard.
Yeah,
tower defense game. That was a random.
I'm just as interested to play that.
I don't even know if people were expecting it when Star Fox Wii U dropped. It was just like all of a sudden they're like, "Here's another game that comes with it for free," and it's like, "What is this?"
Sure. It almost makes you wonder why they spent the money and the time and all this different stuff to just bundle it.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I don't know if they were just kind of working at maybe that would have been a mobile game and they kind of scrapped it and just bundled it with the.
We already have it here. We might as well just give it out.
Nintendo's getting big into mobile games, so maybe that'll be something down the road they'll do.
Sure.
because the Wii U sold so poorly, they've been porting some games over like Donkey Kong and Mario Kart to have those reseller
right.
Make money now that the base of the Switch is so big.
But people didn't experience this because they didn't have a Wii U, so this is new to them.
I don't know if they should bring Star Fox over, like remaster it, because people complained that it was so close to the old one. But if they brought Star Fox Guard to mobile, I think it would be taken well.
Sure, that makes sense. It'd be another revenue. Makes sense. It'd be a good idea.
I mean, I paid $10 for Mario Run, and I don't have any regrets. I put a ton of hours into that game.
And pretty much, if you slap a Star Fox on something, I'll buy it. So,
I am very surprised they have not made a Star Fox controller. They have everybody else, Toad and Princess.
I know, and that's actually what held me off. I guess I myself didn't realize how much of a Star Fox fan I was until I saw all these characters on these controllers, and I was trying to pick them, and then I realized there wasn't a Star Fox, and I was like, and I stopped. I didn't buy anything at the time because I thought I have to go look online because there might be one online, and I'm not going to buy some Mario one or some Yoshi one when I could get a Star Fox one like I want. So I left the store, and then it doesn't exist.
They don't make one for anything.
Well, back in the day, they didn't make very many customized controllers in the first place. They maybe made like a blue one or a red one, but they didn't make like a Star Fox controller or a Mario controller. They just were colored. So that's really only a newer thing to actually do a full-blown like, customized controller.
Yeah, I mean, it's new as in Xbox 360,
yeah,
PS3
360 era. Yeah.
Man, I miss the... Well, I guess for our experience, it was like the renaissance of gaming. Everything was new and amazing, and like it almost felt like nothing could be bad.
But I feel like that is going to be every generation going forward. They will have their own revolution.
Oh no, that's why I said ours.
Yeah. Like I love my memories of the PlayStation 2 original Xbox Halo, when Halo first came out and you're on that ice planet. I forget what it's called right now.
Hoth?
No, but it's something. It's not Bloody Gulch, whatever it's called. But it's, anyways, yeah. But when you're out, I remember just the very first time, like all of us were playing, multiple Xboxes, all hooked up, a whole entire room full of TVs, so many people in here. I just couldn't believe the future that I was sitting in. Like, we're all playing on this game right now. It was just so mind-blowing. And I had some like rich friend who he was much older than us, and he just didn't want to grow up. So he had all this extra money. Like, we didn't have this kind of cash. But he had, since he had like a full-blown like real job, he had bought multiple Xboxes, hooked it up to like multiple TVs. So we'd bring like our Xbox, other people would bring their Xboxes, and then with his already like small collection of like 3 or 4 Xboxes, we had this huge room full of people, and it was just mind blowing. Plus at the time, because you could split the screen too, so even if you ran out of screens, you could just split the screen and you could just keep putting people on it, so you could have just so many players. I just remember it was, I think, what was maxed out at 16 players. I don't really know.
I think so.
But either way, and we probably didn't even hit that. We probably had maybe 12 people in there or something. But it felt like just an army of us in there. It just was so cool.
What's funny is PC gamers have been playing online for years before that.
Sure.
But, yeah, for console, that was big stuff.
Yeah, and I've never been into PC. I've always been a console player my entire life. I've just dipped my toe into PC slightly a couple times, but just have stuck with console. It's easy. It's for, I guess, more casual gamers, if you will, even though I at times would consider myself to be a deep gamer because of my dad duties have taken over, so I've become more of a casual gamer, even though I love gaming. Just consume news about gaming all day long. But
speaking of dadding and gaming, not to cut you off.
Oh, do it.
But like when my daughter opens up that left cabinet on the thing, and she's pulling out like I have a Yoshi and a Princess Wiimote and a couple GameCube controllers and the SNES, and she just sits there playing with them because they light up. I'm so proud. I'm like, oh yeah, someday, Brecken, you're gonna be able to play with Dad, and I get excited. But who knows if she will like them?
No, I do the same thing. Like when Beckett is holding this controller that's way outsourced, way larger than his little hands can handle, but he's moving the joysticks around and stuff like that. I feel the same way. Like, I cannot wait until you and your brother can play games with me, and that is what we're going to do all the time.
PlayStation 1 Classic. We had talked about it. I was actually super hyped for it. Do you remember? It's the PlayStation 1 Classic. It's like the mini PS1. It comes with 20 games preloaded. It was like Sony's version of the Nintendo Classic. When they announced it, people were extremely excited. Now, 8 and 16-bit games look fine brought into HDMI and new life because they're usually 2D, side-scrolling or whatever.
Yeah.
And their graphics stay, I don't know, like when we go back and play those games, we know what to expect.
Right.
PlayStation, though, was one of the first of its gen to have the 3D.
Yeah.
3D is going to be hard because we're so used to 3D now with good graphics.
Yeah.
And the PlayStation 1 had bad graphics compared to today. I still would be fine with it because I am very nostalgic to PS1. But that is just one of the issues of bringing back a PS1 Classic.
And I understand that issue. Like, before you get into the others, I just want to just slightly bunny trail on that for a second, or just stay on it for a second. And like my memories of like the N64 era are so great. And I remember these really cool games I thought were so fun and so awesome. And I see pictures or video of them nowadays, and I immediately like change the channel or turn it off because it's like, don't ruin my memories. Because I used to love this stuff. And whenever I see like an image or like a video of some like, PlayStation 1 or N64 game, it's god awful. Yeah, you can barely even tell what they're supposed to be.
I get one of our friends says that's why he doesn't play any game older. Like older than what he's playing today, he'll never play anything prior.
Is that John?
No, that's Jesse.
Oh.
I can go back and play. I don't really care. Like, I'll go back and play Metal Gear 1, which, if you look at it today, is, like you said, it's very mushy. Like, some graphics you can't make out, but back when it released, obviously, it was, like, the best graphics ever.
Sure.
I don't personally care. I was playing Mario 64 on my RetroPie. It worked fine for me. I didn't really care.
I haven't seen Mario 64 in a long time, so I don't know what the graphics difference is. I'm sure it's dramatic.
It's old.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it in a long time. But go on. So that's only one of the issues.
And that's not even an issue. That's just like a personal preference, right?
Right. But it is a big deal. So are people like slapped in the face with it? Like, oh, that's what it used to look like.
No, because people wanted this. PS1 was a very nostalgic console. It was like sold like gangbusters.
So
it took out Sega.
Sure.
It won that era.
Right. I agree.
It was the console with Crash Bandicoot making fun of the Nintendo 64. So, the hype train starts with the PlayStation 1 Classic. Then they announce their 3 games. And they said, we're going to have 20, but here's 3 little tidbits. People are like, oh, okay, all right. Some people canceled their pre-orders.
What were they again?
Okay, so I think back when they announced it, it was like Final Fantasy VII, Ridge Racer, and Tekken 3, Wild Arms, and Jumping Flash.
Okay.
They announced either 5 of those, or they announced just 3 of those in their initial their initial press release.
All right.
People were like, "Oh yeah, Final Fantasy, good stuff." But everybody has their own opinion on what classic PlayStation 1 games there are.
Sure.
I have my own, which are much different than most people's that I've seen reviews on, like Metal Jesus Rocks. But what I had hoped was it would get hacked like the Nintendos. And what I would do is I'd take my PlayStation 1 games and just put them on it. So I'd have I'd make my own little PlayStation 1 mix.
Sure.
Because then I can leave it up in the upstairs because it's small. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to leave it downstairs.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it has all the games on it. You don't have to have multiple discs. You don't have to...
Yeah, no discs, none of that.
Turn it on and you're flying.
Oh, very convenient. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's going to be some nerds that are like, just get a Retro Pi, just get a Raspberry Pi, put your PlayStation 1 emulator on it, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
That's not the point. The point is, I have an authentic controller, I have an authentic looking case, it looks like a PlayStation 1, it's HDMI, it's done nicely, I like it.
Yeah.
So I didn't put the pre-order in, I almost did, but I wanted to see what would happen. I knew I didn't have the time to play it, so I was just kind of waiting, and I was like, I should be able to find it before Christmas.
Okay.
Then more news came out. And they had let media people play it.
Uh-huh.
Turns out they were using an open-sourced emulator, which isn't a huge deal, but it kind of starts the ball rolling on people thinking that this is like a cheap moneymaker. It's almost like they didn't put much thought or time into it. Mm-hmm. Nintendo's has their own custom emulator on it.
Right.
I mean, Nintendo spent a lot of time on it.
Sure.
Then, the controllers are the original. There's no joysticks, which came out later with Metal Gear Solid. The first DualShock, which had 2 joysticks.
Right. They're saying that they don't have it on?
The PlayStation 1 Classic comes with the original controller. No joysticks.
Interesting.
It also has no rumble.
Okay,
well, Metal Gear Solid was one of the first games that didn't really require it, but when you fought Psycho Mantis, you had to have rumble.
Interesting.
So now you don't have rumble, you don't have dual joysticks, and you have games on there, or a game, that
almost requires it.
Like, we're very heavily influenced on it.
Sure. It was a big deal at the time.
Yep. You would think maybe... I get it. The original PlayStation controller was very... It was the big look of the first gen.
You know, let me just pause you for 1 second. You know, it was a big deal when these rumblers came out.
They were new.
It revolutionized the fact that this item that you're holding in your hand is now going to be a part of the experience. You are literally going to feel your gun shooting. You are going to feel the impact of someone hitting your character, because there's such a quick spin, a quick rumble in your hands, and all of a sudden you are physically affected, not just visually affected by what's going on in the game. And nowadays, hardcore gamers or tryhards, whatever you want to call them, they will turn off the settings and not play with rumblers. Like my brother, for instance, he does not play with rumblers in most of his games. He turns them off. Or like when we used to have our video game company for a while, people would pay us, we would charge them $5 to take the rumblers out of the controller and sell them a rumbleless controller.
That seems weird.
Yeah. It was weird. And
does your brother do it for battery life?
No, he does it because it affects his shooting ability.
Oh, because in theory, the controller is moving.
Correct.
Thus, your finger is moving on the trigger.
You can't focus solely on just pulling that trigger and just shooting through it. It's not a smooth experience because it's rumbling, it's shaking. Whereas to me, I can never do that. The concept of that to me it's heresy. Like, no, they put this in it for a reason, so you can experience the game. So I understand why people do it, but to me, it's so tryhardy. I can never.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a part of the game. It's about the feeling of the game. So I'll never not do it. But I'm not trying to shit on people who do it. I don't. I can never do that.
It's like shaker motors and pinball. I put them in a bunch of mine, and they become normal. So playing games with rumble is normal.
Uh-huh.
If I played that game again without it, I would notice, and then it would be weird.
I noticed immediately, because I went to play with my brother on it was probably Destiny or something like that, and my controller wasn't moving, and it felt so weird to pull the trigger and not feel my gun shooting. I didn't realize how used to my hands or my body feeling these guns shooting away. So it felt like I wasn't shooting. I mean, Is something broken? Like I didn't know. I was immediately taken aback. Like, what's going on right now? But it was doing everything fine. It just everything was turned off.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
I pulled up a picture of the first DualShock, and it literally is the first controller with the 2 joysticks and the button for analog.
Yep. It was a revolution, and no one ever looked back.
But they are shipping only with the first one, which, okay, fine.
Sure.
But then you want to pack games that will only utilize this, like no DualShock stuff.
Right.
Well, there's Metal Gear. Then they put on the 3D first-person shooter, Rainbow Six. What? Who wants to play a first-person shooter without twin joysticks? Do you remember playing GoldenEye on N64?
Hold on. So, do they use both joysticks? They use the left one for sure. Because, okay, let's say I didn't own a dual joystick controller. Obviously, I have my analog D-pad on the left-hand side to move my guy around.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need that other analog stick to look up and down?
I don't know how they do it.
Okay.
I'm assuming, just like GoldenEye, that you have buttons to do the up and down stuff.
That's what I'm thinking.
And so it's just gonna be ultra clunky.
Sure.
And Rainbow Six, that's not fucking classic.
No.
I didn't even know they made Rainbow Six on PlayStation.
Correct.
I've only played it on PC.
You just saying that right now was the first time I knew that it existed on PlayStation 1. For you to consider that as a classic, I don't see how that could be. I mean, there's so many other games on that list. Obviously, Final Fantasy, I get that. Obviously, Tekken, I get that. There's a lot of games on that list that should be on the list. But there's some very odd ones. Is Crash Bandicoot must be on there, I'm assuming.
Nope.
Spyro must be on there, I'm assuming.
Nope. Tomb Raider? Nope. What other classic games do you remember from PlayStation?
Rayman must be on there.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Oh, I love ads. Rayman? No.
Siphon Filter, is that on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Only the first one. Which I would say is a PS1 classic because it is exclusive. I remember playing it. I bought the second one because of it. But I like the first one more.
Okay. Sorry. So there's one game on there that I would consider.
You want me to redo the list again?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, read the list.
Battle Arena Toshiden, which I have played the demo, and it was really fun. It was like a 3D fighter.
I've never heard it.
Okay. Cool Borders 2.
I love Cool Borders. My brother and I played Cool Borders quite a bit back in the day.
I would agree. I loved it. Destruction Derby.
But I don't know if it's a classic. But either way, I mean, if enough people liked it that they thought it should go on here, then it must be a bigger deal than I thought. Like, to me, it was a big deal. To my brother, it was a big deal.
I would think Cool Borders is actually a big deal.
Okay, sure. That's good.
Destruction Derby.
I don't even know.
I remember it greatly on PS1.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 7.
Obviously.
Grand Theft Auto.
That has to be on there.
I never played it on PS1. I played it on PC. So it's classic to me, but I don't tie it with PlayStation.
What was the one that really hit? Grand Theft Auto was kind of a big deal, but I think it was a sequel.
There was Grand Theft Auto 2.
I think it was Grand Theft Auto like 2 or 3.
Then there was Grand Theft Auto 2 in London. But then Grand Theft Auto 3 was the first 3D world one on PlayStation 2, and that went like bonkers.
So that is the one that I truly remember.
That's PS2. We're not talking about that.
I know. So I don't know what it even looks like for PlayStation 1.
It's top-down view.
Oh, I have seen it. I've seen
really
it.
Bad graphics.
I've never played it, so I don't have an opinion on it, I guess.
It's fun, but it doesn't really hold up.
Sure.
Intelligent Cube, cool puzzle game. Jumping Flash, don't remember that one. Metal Gear Solid, classic game, but without the Rumble DualShock. Not sure. Mr. Driller,
never heard of it.
Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey,
yes,
PS1 classic.
Yep.
Rayman. Oh, they do have Rayman.
Okay,
I missed it.
So Rayman's in there.
Very classic. Resident Evil Director's Cut.
That seems interesting.
I would agree. It's not the original Resident Evil. It's the Director's Cut, which I own both.
That's very unclassic-y of them. Either way, that's fine.
It's a good game.
It's probably a better game,
but it's a mixed up. Let's say like they mix stuff up from the original.
Right.
But you would have thought that Resident Evil 2 was a better game.
Okay. And that's also on PlayStation?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Revelations Persona.
But they're probably using it because it's the first one.
But that's the director's cut. It's not even the...
Good point.
It's the first one, but it's like the remix.
Right. Okay. Go on.
Revelations Persona, I think it's a JRPG. I have no idea. Ridge Racer Type 4. Ridge Racer was one of the first games that they showed on the PlayStation when he would like run into a football field, plug in the PlayStation, and play on the big Jumbotron. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it was Type 4. I think it was just Ridge Racer.
Okay.
So I think Type 4 is fine.
I don't know. I do remember that Ridge Racer was a big deal at the time. I don't even remember what system I saw Ridge Racer on. So I don't know if it was on PlayStation 2. But I feel like... You know what it was? Did they make an arcade game?
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know, because I remember seeing Ridge Racer quite a bit around that time era. Do they have Virtua Fighter on there?
On the PlayStation?
Yeah.
No.
What system was that on?
Oh, no. Wasn't that Sega? Virtua Fighter is Sega.
Okay.
So that was on Dreamcast. And probably
I played that
Saturn.
arcade quite a bit, too.
Yeah. They made arcade games. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I think it's some sort of Tetris thing. Siphon Filter, own it, love it. Mm-hmm. Tengen 3, classic fighter.
It's one of my favorite memories.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. On PC, sure. Not on PlayStation. Twisted Metal, yes, classic.
100%.
However, Twisted Metal 2 might have been a better choice.
Yeah, but they're trying to stick to this.
No, they're not trying to stick to shit.
Besides the director's cut.
They are not sticking to anything on this.
Sure.
If they were classic, Cool Borders 1 would have been picked, which Cool Borders 1 is way worse than Cool Borders 2.
Good point.
And then Wild Arms, which is an RPG. Mm-hmm. What was the... There's a bunch of like RPG games that would have been better than...
I tell you what, I mean, like... So, as a kid who... I grew up in a family. I think I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast. I grew up in a family that was fairly restrictive, so I wasn't allowed to play a lot of shooters, a lot of violent games, and so I play a lot of sports games. So to me, my opinions on a lot of the stuff is probably skewed because I played like a lot of baseball games and stuff on that. So I remember those games, as well as of course like the Crash Bandicoot and such, which I think is it's stunning to me. The Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are not on this list. Those are easily the two biggest games besides Final Fantasy, in my opinion, from that era.
I would agree. They are mascots to the console.
They are the mascots. I mean, because Final Fantasy, even though that is an exclusive at the time for PlayStation, they weren't mascotted. They were like a really cool thing. Like, you should buy this because this game is on here. But they weren't a mascot, whereas Spyro was a blatant and Crash were blatant mascots for PlayStation.
They were the Mario of PlayStation.
Yes, very much so.
They were so mascotted that you thought they were PlayStation. Well, yet, they sold out. Naughty Dog has, they're on all the consoles now.
Yeah, but at the time.
Oh, no, for sure.
Right.
Like that was PlayStation's thing.
Right.
Same with Twisted Metal, like Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, so I am shocked that those two titles, and not even that, multiple versions of those two titles are not on there.
Their main excuse is, well, we just released remasters. I don't give a shit. I don't own a PlayStation 4. I bought Crash on Switch, but I think Spyro's dropping on the other ones. But
they're not going to sell this system, in my opinion. I mean, people are going to buy it, but not at the massive amounts that they thought that they were going to sell it. Without some of these games being on there.
Oh, no, it's going to get worse for them. Like, throughout my little story here.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
So
all right.
Do you have... Okay, so this list sucks for me. I would switch this up majorly, but, like, do you have another game that's not on this list that you would, like...
I feel like, okay, there's multiple Spyros for PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I would put all of them on the list.
Oh, fuck. I just remembered another giant classic on PlayStation. Ape Escape.
Oh, yeah. That's a great game. That was a huge game. That's a big memory for me, for sure.
It was big. Exclusive. Still exclusive.
And it was one of the very first games. In my experience, it was the first game to ever use joysticks.
Yep.
The dual joysticks. So that, to me, it was so revolutionary for me and my brother to use the dual joysticks in Ape Escape. So The fact that that's not in there is also goofy.
And I'm pretty sure that was a PlayStation. Like, that was a Sony-produced game.
And maybe it's because it's dual joystick only.
So stupid.
You can't play. I had to go out and buy a Mad Catz dual joystick controller because I couldn't afford a real one. So I had to go buy a Mad Catz, which was just the cheapest plastic ever created.
Yeah.
And it immediately some piece snapped in there and was rattling around inside of it. But it still played the game, so we just continued.
Oh my god! So when I remember when Metal Gear Solid dropped, and it was recommended you get a dual joystick Rumble controller. My mom was like off to Target or whatever, and I made her buy me, or I probably gave her money because I would bake groceries at the time, but I had her get me a Thrustmaster. I said, whatever DualShock you can get me. I don't care what it is. I just want to play this game with DualShock. And I don't know if she cheaped out or what, but she came back with this Thrustmaster.
Well, to her, it's all the same.
Well, fine, but
I mean, think about it. As a parent, if your kid says, "I need this," and you're looking at 3 different options, and this one's like $7,
$20,
yeah.
Or $50, yeah.
Right. It's like,
here's the $20.
Yeah, here you go. Have a nice day.
So I had this like big blue, looks like a head of a battle axe.
I was trying to picture what these things look like, and now that you say that the big blue, I can picture that big, huge monstrosity of a controller.
Here it is.
Yo.
It looks like a top of a battle axe. Just ridiculous.
It's just, yeah, it's huge. I never used that, but I've seen them before.
Mine still works.
I lived in GameStop practically for a while.
Yeah, you did. You got ripped off by them.
Yeah.
Mine still works. I still own it. I still use it.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations, Mom. Your product still exists.
Yeah.
Mine certainly did not. I'm sure mine is crumbling in a
landfill somewhere.
Landfill somewhere, exactly.
I have a ton of classic PlayStation 1 games that I remember, but the one that is like my Hydro Thunder is Blood Omen Legacy of Kain.
Ooh, that's on PlayStation 1?
That is PlayStation 1.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And that is to me, it's a great RPG because it's not too deep. Mm-hmm. You get weapons, you get armor, but that's it. You don't have to like do your attributes and stuff. And I love vampires, so you're walking around as a vampire being a badass. You can morph into a bat, you can morph into a werewolf. But the other main...
What was the follow-up to that called?
Yeah, the next classic that revolutionized PlayStation with no load times, Soul Reaver.
Oh, Soul Reaver.
You were Razel.
I never played Soul Reaver.
Are you kidding me?
Because I wasn't certain.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't.
I was no way in hell I was going to be able to play Soul Reaver. But I remember the hype around Soul Reaver. And I thought the Soul Reaver character looked so cool.
Oh, dude.
I remember just like staring at that cover so many times. It's like, God, this game looks so good. But because I was such a sheltered little child, as cool as I thought Soul Reaver was, the fact that it was connected to Legacy of Kain, which was like Satan to me, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I can play this. But at the same time, I thought he's such a cool looking character. And again, I've never played it, so you explain to the crowd.
It was a giant PlayStation 1 game. Not only did it have the best graphics of its time when it came out, his like cape, that like it was all ratty, like his clothes and his little cloth. The cloth moved and the cape moved in a certain way. There was no load times in the world. Now, if you go back and play it, you'll understand why. They kind of had the fog, so low visual range. But you remember load times? Some games that sucked took forever to load.
Siphon Filter is a very good example of that. Siphon Filter nowadays is essentially unplayable. Like the load times in it are horrendous.
I think a good way to experience PlayStation 1 games would be to boot your PS2 up, and there are settings in your PlayStation 2 to enable enhancements to PlayStation 1 games.
Oh.
That is probably a really good way to play it. And then since it's PS2, you get DualShocks.
Sure.
At any rate, those are a couple of my games that I would have had on this list. So if it gets hackable, I will totally buy one and put... Well, I don't care if I have to make my own images. I own all my games. I'll rip them and put them on it. But this list, I would keep 3 games.
This list is, to me, there's only one reason to buy this, because Cool Borders would be kind of cool. But Tekken 3, I loved Tekken 3 at the time. Jin Kusama was the coolest person in the world to me. I loved Jin Kusama. I thought he was just the coolest person ever created, maybe besides Batman himself. But like, God. The fact that the first time I laid eyes on that character, I was like, I want to be that person, because he was so cool.
You just liked his hair.
Oh, his hair was epic. The most epic hair.
Is that the guy with the black and flaming pants?
Yep.
Oh Jesus.
The cool like hand punching gloves and his amazing tattoo
and his 6-pack.
Oh yeah. No, but his character, and it had a lot to do with his hair. I thought his hair was so amazing. I was like, look at this guy. He's like so cool. I have to be him right now. But
tell me you were him for Halloween.
No, I mean, I wanted to be him in real life. Steve, is what I'm saying.
Fuck Halloween. You should cosplay him.
Oh yeah,
you could do it. You got more hair than I do.
He's pretty iconic. It wouldn't be that hard to do it. But I remember, like, as a kid, like him and his dad in the game. I think it's his dad. The other Kusama. It's got to be his dad. Anyways,
I've only played a couple.
They all, him and the villain too. They all have like the flared up like eyebrows. At the tips. I would do that as a kid. I would like get them wet and like flare up the side of my eyebrows. So like, I look just like Jin Kusama right now. It was just so crazy. But it's what a young, I don't know, like preteen does. Preteens do the
very
most stupid.
Influenceable.
Yeah. You look at a preteen and you're like, God, you're so stupid. All the time. I hate preteens.
What's funny is, like, when you're that young, you want to be everybody else. And when you grow up, you're like, I don't want to be like anybody.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah, but I remember just, I thought he was so cool. So to me, like, when I look at this whole list, there's only two. Oh, Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal.
Tengen.
And like you said, Twisted Metal 2 is way better.
Controls are better. Everything's better.
Everything's better about it. So I almost don't even want to play Twisted Metal 1, because like Twisted Metal 2 is so night and day better. I don't know. It is what it is. But Tekken 3 would be worth it.
Abe's Odyssey is fun too because you can fart. God, that game is so fun.
Abe's Odyssey? Never heard of it. Oh, no, I have.
It's the side scrolling where you can fart. Yeah. That's a really fun game.
I never played it though.
Ugh. Your parents didn't like farting, or?
No,
All right, so there's the main issue, right? Is that the list of games sucked.
That'd be enough of a reason for me not to buy that. Because
I'm
not going to buy it for one game.
Yeah, a bunch more people cancel the pre-orders, and the internet is like rumbling of like, where did you find these fucking games?
Sure.
What's classic about any of this shit? Plus the open source emulation, which it is totally fine in my head. I don't care if you use an open source engine, but it just seems lazy.
Sure.
Because they're not optimizing anything.
Right.
There's no DualShock. There's no Rumble. Now we find out a lot of the games are PAL versions. So PAL is Europe. Well, Europe has a different resolution. We do... how does this work? I think we do 60 hertz here at 30 frames a second. They do 50 hertz at like fucking 20-something.
So it's a lot worse.
For us. Because our TVs aren't made that way. Yeah, PAL runs at 25 frames a second. NTFS runs at 29.9, so it's 30.
Now, these are older games, so do they need a lot of frame rate?
So it's not that. It's supposedly the human eye can't tell 30 and above.
Oh, so you can actually physically tell the difference.
So now, the games that are PAL images, like PAL games, you'll see noticeable lag. Because we're on NTSC TVs. What the flying F? That is a super lazy move. Nintendo did it. They did.
Okay.
Per region, they made a very specific console. Per region. Like, the US got its NES. Japan got its NES. Europe got theirs.
Right. Very interesting. So, is there another issue beyond this?
No, I think that just all equals trash.
So either way, poor quality hardware / software.
I would think the hardware's fine. It's the software.
Okay. So poor quality, lazy Yeah, actually more likely even.
I had do you remember those Sega Genesises and the like Ataris you see in the stores?
The cheap ones.
Like At Games makes them.
They cost like $40.
I jokingly said that At Games must have made this because of how crap it's turning out to be. Well, because for instance, on the Nintendo, you have save states, you have rewind. You don't have that. Like, I can pause the game and create a save.
Sure.
You couldn't do that on the original
Back in the
NES.
day, right.
They don't have save states. They don't have rewind. It's a very lazy move of like, here's a menu, pick a game, play it like the original. There's no enhancement.
They're just going for an easy, super easy, and super cheap cash grab. And apparently they picked titles off the floor and added them on here. Because they're like, wait, how much is it going to... Does anyone own this right now besides us? Does Naughty Dog own it? They do? Okay, then we're not talking to them.
Yeah. Is this on archive.org for free? Let's grab that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's... Like you said, they used open source software. So from the get-go, they're going very cheap on this.
Yeah.
They're not trying very hard. Picked up titles right off the floor that no one even knows half of them. And then lazy software on top of it.
Yeah, there's no enhancements. They were lazy on the game selection for region. North America should have had only NTSC images. Europe should have had only PAL. I mean, to keep it correct,
sure,
viewing wise.
Sure.
And then the controller. Yeah. Oh, my bad. You were right. The hardware was bad or lazy.
Oh yeah.
It was the controller.
Mm-hmm. Part of it.
Otherwise, the actual PlayStation, people love it. Like, it is true. There's even the little door flap on the back left that was the parallel port where you'd plug in, like I did my Game Shark or my memory card thing.
Right.
That door's there. You can't open it, but it's there. Like, it's carved out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't open. It's just etched.
I hear you.
So they did a really good job on the case. Nothing else.
So it looks good as an item to put on your desk.
Yeah. So fingers crossed it gets hacked, I guess. I mean, if they're using open source emulator.
If it's open source, it'll get hacked the very first day they release it.
I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. The hard part is I have to give them money to use it.
Right, and that's going to be the biggest deal there is. Is it worth your money/time to give somebody else your money for work that you're going to have to do? Because
I don't even care about that, because that's a fun project. What I am pissed off about is people are going to buy it to hack it, but Sony's going to get the wrong idea that they're buying it because they like it. They're not buying it because of what is on it. They're buying it to enhance it themselves.
Because you didn't make it properly the first time.
Yeah. That's lame. Because I don't want to give them my money. Like all of it.
Sure.
I'd pay $50 today for it. Not liking it. But to give them $100 when it's hacked just proves, oh, well, we made it. But no, I just want the fucking case. But that's the thing. You still don't have the controller. So maybe the hack will allow, because the controller ports are USB. So maybe someone will hack a DualShock to go on the USB. We'll see.
You'll probably be able to
totally
use
waiting game in
like
it.
A PlayStation 3 controller or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
All right. Well, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. You're cutting out our TV reviews.
We'll bring those up next time.
There is no next time, Steve.
Well, there'll be a lot more next times.
Yeah, there is.
All right. So we also.
Oh my gosh, we have new news. We're on Stitcher.
Yep, we are on Stitcher. So that's just one more place where you guys can find us, or maybe where you did find us. That's kind of just exciting. So you can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us pretty damn near any place. I don't know if we're on SoundCloud yet. Maybe we need to look into that. I don't know if that costs money to get on there or not.
You want to get on SoundCloud? I thought that was only for DJs.
Dude, I don't know. Either way, you can. We release tons of content on our Facebook page. If you guys want to keep up on that, just go to Facebook and search for Flipping and Mashing. We are always posting up new gaming and pinball news up there all the time.
Oh, that's how I kind of get my news now, is from pretty much you posting through our Facebook.
So go ahead and check that out, as well as go to PodBean. Just search for Flippin' and Mashing. You have a lot more content on there. You can find our personal Twitters as well as other stuff. Well, that's it for today. We will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, this is Steve.
And this is Parnell.
And we're in the middle of a blizzard right now, traveling to go pick up a pinball machine because we're hardcore.
We are dedicated, like crazy!
And be careful coming up here because this looks a little shady.
What?
Yep.
We're in the Jeep.
Yep.
We got snow tires, man.
That's true.
But we're gonna rock rear-wheel drive as long as we can until we get in the ditch. Then we'll put it in four-wheel and then get more buried.
We already saw some guy hit a light post on the way here.
Yeah, no, he didn't hit it. He took it with him.
He took out the light post. I've never seen anybody take out the light post. Well, anyways, we're gonna go pick up Dragon right now, and then we'll bring it back to the office, set it up near the what's it called?
Rollerblading disco.
Yep, rollerblading disco. So we'll set it up near roller disco, and then we'll try to take it apart, test it. Not necessarily Dragon. We believe Dragon works pretty fine. It's about trying to test roller disco to see if the parts work on it, and then we know that those are the parts that we need to replace, and then we can actually get it working properly. But either way, pretty excited to go pick this up right now. Obviously excited enough to travel in this hellstorm of snow.
It snowed pretty hard all morning. Like,
yeah.
The plows came through some places, but we're going to the middle of freaking nowhere, Wisconsin, to go find this game.
Right. Yeah. So we're in the country right now. I'm not. It's been a little bit of a drive. It's not real close.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes out of town.
But anyways, it's exciting. I've only seen pictures of the game, so we'll see how it tests out and hopefully get a good price on it. We have a price in mind where we're going to try to take it on, and we'll see if we can lock it in at that. And then I bring it back, start cleaning it up, fix it up.
Yeah, the first thing we gotta do is get that battery replaced on that CPU board.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a pin wiki for the System 1 Gottlieb, and that should literally tell us everything we need to do with, like, where to get replacements and what to replace it with and stuff.
Perfect. We need to get new light bulbs and stuff like that. Maybe I'll take a glance on the internet.
I actually have I think I bought a bunch from that EM that I was working on that I didn't use.
Okay.
And I never returned them, so I have a ton of those bayonet style.
Okay.
So you can just have them.
Well, I can buy them off you. That way I don't get something out of it.
I was dumb enough not to return them.
Okay. All right.
They're not, I think they're Comet Sunlight, but they're, yeah.
What are you saying, the specific type of color you're saying?
Yeah, so it's like a soft white, so it won't be too harsh.
Okay.
But they're not like the pure retro.
But that's better for this game anyways, because one, we want it to be brighter, but two, it probably, if it's that harsh white, it's going to look almost ugly.
Yeah, when I did my play ball, I made sure to get retro coin takers, and I thought I bought Pinball Life, a couple of theirs that people recommended. I bought Comets, a bunch of those recommended, and a couple others that were kind of generic or from recommendations online. And the Comet Retro Sunlight or Warm Light were the only ones that I thought actually looked similar to an incandescent. They still are not perfect, but they are close and they still look good and they don't blind you. That plow was huge. So, yeah, there's going to be purists that want the incandescent, and luckily in a home environment, since it's not being left on, you're not going to wreck your game with it, like the bulbs getting too hot and warping plastics. But at the same time, they usually go out more often than an LED. They do get hot, so in my head, you're better off going LED because it's something you can replace. You don't, when you sell the game, people that buy it don't like it can always switch it to the other one.
Right. I mean, I guess personally, I think that they look better with LEDs, but I guess I understand if somebody else. Well, some games look better. Like, for instance, I wouldn't put LEDs in your Lord of the Rings game.
No, I would agree. That game is gorgeous. It's a little dark, but that movie's kind of the same way.
Yeah. It gives it a really great warm feeling.
It's like an old. I don't know. It's kind of it feels like you're in that environment. It's like candlelit in a cave or in an old house. That dim but brightened look. I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying.
Do you see?
Almost like if you're in like.
You know what I'm laying down?
Yeah, like in an old pub. Like,
yeah.
Candlelit pub.
Oh, candle. Ooh, it's like we're having fancy dinner with wine.
No, you went the wrong direction.
Oh.
I'm talking like a pirate cove.
We're at Sea of Thieves. Yeah. We're getting scurvy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look up online to see if there's any like YouTube videos of somebody who's, I don't know, done stuff with the Dragon games. So I might mimic whatever they did if I like it. If not, then we'll be free flowing and we'll figure it out however we think it looks good.
What if? Hey, you know what? The pinball machine's gonna help us get traction because it's so damn heavy.
That's a good idea. It's a good point. We brought our dolly. Hopefully we can just carry it over the snow anyways.
Got my mobile toolkit, but I have a back muscle that freaked out, so
I'll just put it on my shoulder.
Ooh, yeah. I'll be okay holding it. Just lifting it up from the ground up is gonna be. I'll have to be very careful.
Okay.
But my back does feel better than it did yesterday. I think I slept on it bad. I'm sick, so. Ugh.
So you're just kind of a bitch.
Hey, I like to get real whiny with my wife, so. Like, Pernell, can you do the dishes or clean? No, I just don't feel good. But I'm really good about playing video games when I'm sick. We're watching TV. I can do that real good. No, I'm not.
Oh, speaking of games, Warframe just came out today.
Warframe dropped.
So I've been trying to download this game all day long.
The funny part, it's like 12 gigs. Right. So it's big.
Yeah.
Steve's on the guest network for work, and I have that limited to, God, it's maybe a meg. It is so slow.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, it's not downloading.
Because, it's taking a long time to download. But then, two, something that's weird is that they didn't release the game till like noon, and I'm not used to that. Like Destiny or any other game, honestly, any other game I've played, they always release in like the middle of the night or like at midnight. So by the time I wake up, I just punch download and it's all ready to go for me. Or if I have it already on auto download, by the time I wake up, it's already been downloaded for me and I can start playing. When I got to the office this morning, I was expecting to be able to just have it download all day. It didn't even start until after lunch.
Yeah, that's kind of Nintendo's thing, is they definitely don't release games until, I want to say it's between 10 and noon our time.
Is there a reason behind it?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they do it to sync up with Japan or what. I don't know if there's some time thing over there where they want it released in Japan at a certain time, so it just translates to us being at a weird hour.
Maybe it's like their midnight or their middle of the night.
Yeah, I'd have to kind of do the clock comparison. Chris will probably text us or write us, "Hey, dumbass, you should have Googled it before you get on your podcast."
It's better this way, Chris.
We're just making fools of ourselves.
Exactly.
So, we're almost there, but one thing, we just saw the bar owner where The Sopranos is in Batman, and I asked him, because I fixed Sopranos like a week or two ago, and he said today when he went to the work that Sopranos had an out-of-order sign on it again. So, he doesn't know what it is. I gotta drop by the bar again and check it out. We have to make like a Google number, and so people, like the bartender, could text us what the problem is, and it goes to a Google account instead of our personal thing.
Sure, if you that way it's just not bothering you all the time.
Yeah, where like you could get the text to or the email or whatever instead of, and then it's one of those things where if you put it up on the wall so that even patrons of the location could text like, "Hey, found this problem with this game," it goes to this general mailbox kind of thing instead of someone's personal phone number.
Sure.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to look into.
Sounds good. Was this it here?
Oh, we got a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to kick in 6-wheel drive, though.
Oh. Do you have a Dodge T-Rex? I used to think that those were the coolest trucks of all time.
Oh, with the 4 wheels in the back?
Yeah. They were a big deal for a very short period of time. When I was a kid, they made a whole bunch of different toys off of them and a bunch of stuff, and then I never saw one in real life, obviously, but
I've just seen pictures, and I think you sent one the other day, but yeah, there's people that mod there's a Ford version, and then there's the Ram one. I don't know, they seem pretty ridiculous.
They have a 6-wheeled Raptor.
Someone I don't know if it's a Raptor, it's like a F-350 or something.
Oh.
I mean, there's a company that mods them up like that, and they're kind of mimicked off a military vehicle, but they're kind of just used in Texas because it's ridiculous.
Bigger the better.
Is that a bobcat? No, it's a deer. A little family of deer. Too bad you don't have your hunting stuff with you.
I don't have any hunting stuff.
You could just go tackle them.
Well, we could just ram them with this. I'm sure your Jeep will take it.
Oh, I don't have a little ram kit on here. It'll break my bumpers.
What's he flashing at you for?
Probably a deer.
Oh no, because that guy's backing out. That's why. He was warning you. Yep, we got snow trucks and snow plows all over the place right now. Snow trucks with plows on them.
My gosh, we're gonna need chains. We're going through the mountains soon. This is a good day to pick to do this because now it's kind of just, oh shoot, I went past it. Now it's just kind of fun. We're we're proving that we're hardcore enough to
survive all this.
Yeah, to be dumb enough to go into the winter
chaos.
The bad winter weather of pinballing. We're turning around in the middle of a road that is very wide.
And there's a corner near us.
There we go. Oh, there's another deer. Okay, we'll hit this one. He's a prime target. We'll probably just have to cut this out.
He does not care.
His tail's not even up.
There's another one.
Oh, it's a buck. Is that an 8-pointer?
Yes.
Oh, dude. I think Wisconsin's hunting just kind of started.
All right, here we are.
We'll start recording again once we pick her up.
Yep. Tell you how I felt.
Hopefully, if I break myself, that you can drive stick.
Sounds good. We'll figure it out. All right, see you guys in a second. All right, and with the power of podcasting, we're back. We got it all loaded up.
Oh, you ruined it. We should have faked it. That we didn't get it.
That we smashed it to smithereens.
That we dropped it.
Yeah. Got it all loaded up. Tested it slightly before we got it in here. It works good. It looks good. Parnell had already looked over it once before. He's already been out one time to already check it out. So we already had a good idea of what it played like. We just turned it on to make sure it was still functional.
It needs a good cleaning, and then, yeah, the legs aren't leveled enough to give that. Steve wants the speed.
Right. Well, yeah, the ball moves pretty slow. So we have to adjust it so that the ball speed will go up. I mean, obviously polishing the play field will make the ball move a little bit quicker, but it's going to need to be leveled out better so that the ball will travel up and down.
Better incline.
Yeah, incline, that's what I'm trying to say. It needs new bulbs for sure. There's some bulbs that are already out, but like we said beforehand, try to put in some nice flashy bulbs. There might be some different areas on the cabinet that can be painted and updated. Yeah, there's certain portions on the cabinet that could be.
You want to paint the cabinet?
I'm not saying paint the whole cabinet, because I understand one has this speckled look that you can't really duplicate.
Oh,
Two, it has the stencils and stuff that you could technically duplicate, but it would take a long time, and it's just not really worth it. But there's other portions that could be up there, like around the neck and stuff like that.
I wouldn't
just
touch
leave
it,
it. Just leave it. Just
I mean, I don't know why you would spend the time or money on doing it.
Okay.
The person that's going to buy it is probably either a newbie or a purist, and they're going to want. They either won't know if they just want a game, or they will know and it's not the right color.
gotcha.
I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah. I love the artwork. I think that backsplash is so cool.
The back glass is so mint. It is super pristine. The game is in really good shape. So, wasn't a steal. It was a deal. And it'll be a nice game to have with roller discos. You have two of the same generation. Same board sets. It'll be a nice game to have. It'll play similar. This is not a wide body, so it'll play a little different than roller disco. And it doesn't have drop targets, so it'll be a lot of a different feel. So it'll be a good pair to have, where you have two solid states. One is like drop targets and the pops, and the one is pops and the spinner and the berry target. I mean, it'll be a good game to have as a mix, shake up.
Sure. I do think it looks cool. I like it. We'll get it all cleaned up and put new rubbers on it and have it ready to fly.
You can do clear rubbers again like you did roller disco.
I haven't decided. I have to look over the color scheme to see if I'll put maybe a specific color on it.
Huh.
Clear rubbers don't leave the dust, really.
Well, you just have to get the silicon. The silicon ones will be the ones that don't do the dust thing.
Because that's all right. Well, then that's what we'll do. Because the big deal is I don't want dust all over the place.
Yeah.
Although, okay, those black ones from what's it called? Batman, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Are those silicon?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that will get dirty again. But Batman, if you put white rubbers in that game, it'd look ugly.
I'm not saying you do.
No, but like,
Do they make black silicon?
yeah,
All right. How come we didn't do that?
because he didn't want to spend a lot of money on it.
Okay. Gotcha.
You could get since it's dragon, green ones might look alright. Otherwise, just the plain old white set is like $15, and it's going to be your cheapest option. If you go silicon, you're going to be paying for it. So, it really depends on what you want.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I don't know. You got anything more than that?
You had the coin mech, so you could put this on route. You could become a route king.
That would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool to have it on route. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I don't know. I mean,
In a way, if we put it in the bar, that might be worth it in and of itself, because then it gives the bar more of a full feeling.
that was my thing. Was like, even if it's a bad game, it's still a game.
Right.
I mean, and if it doesn't,
It creates an atmosphere.
yeah, if it doesn't get a lot of quarters, you can just pull it out, or you can even put a for sale sign on it at the bar,
Ooh,
and maybe a patron wants it.
that's not bad.
There's a bunch of pinball people that like playing.
That's not a bad idea. One, it makes it feel more full. Two, it'd make you money in the meantime. And three, maybe it could sell itself.
Yeah, you put a 1/4 a play or whatever, and
Sure. It's not a bad idea. But either way, it's another cool little project to tinker with and get this thing up and running. It will be exciting, as well as being able to finally get roller disco up and running. So I'm excited about both.
I'm thinking we'll do about 90% of the work, and then we'll just leave it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. All right,
welcome.
it's almost done. We're good here. Just walk away.
Let's walk away. I think for Christmas, I'm going to ask everybody to like watch my family, so I can have time to fix my stuff.
There we go. For Christmas, all I want you to do is please give me a half an hour at the end of the day, or not half an hour, 4 hours.
Yeah, just watch my family. Watch my daughter, watch my dog. I don't care.
Just so I can go do something.
Yeah, I need to take care of my games. I got that EM gun game that Coney Island still has to get fixed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, there's project of the yin yang for me, and I'm thinking about buying a classic Stern because Slam Tilt keeps talking about him. Just bad news. I got a problem.
Yeah. You either need to find somebody who buys these things and actually like does something with them, so you can sell them off as is, or actually fix them up and sell them.
Kind of like Black Hole, where I probably undercut myself because I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Either way. But at least you finally got rid of Black Hole.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it's good. It's a shame you never got to play it one time.
Well, the buyer, he lives a little bit, like an hour or so from us, so I could go visit my baby. He sent me pictures, so.
Wait, does he have it up and running now?
Yeah, he got it up and running in like a week. That's awesome. So, like he probably knew the gem that it actually was.
That's good.
I don't know. I feel like as long as you give decent deals to other people that you know or you're gonna get to know, that they'll pay you back like that. For instance, Chris, he'll sell me a game at the price he paid. He doesn't want to make money off his friends because he just needs to get what he owes out of it.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I sold you a game, I would do the same thing. I would sell you at what I have into it, not to make money off of it.
Okay, sure.
So, it's kind of a karma thing. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And, I've been talking to James about trying to get a little bit of a for sale group or ring going around in the upper Minnesota so we could get some deals flying around. So, who? That guy that bought Black Hole.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But, I talked to Dan from the dog park. He knows this guy that had a 3, kind of like System 11s from curling. And I guess he bought like a lot of 15 games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he is having, I don't know if he's got them yet or what, but they're all, so I thought Dan was going to his house the other day. I gotta hit him up and ask what the update is. That's a lot of games.
Do you know where he got them from?
No, but I guess there are a lot of old games with like EMs, maybe a handful of solid states.
Interesting.
But I want to figure that out. I told Dan, I saw him the other day at the dog park, that if that guy needs help or questions or anything, just let me know. But if he has that many games, sounds like we need to become friends so that we can have League at his house, potentially. If he wants to.
Sure.
I'm not going to force it on people.
Right. But if I don't know, maybe he's a hermit, but at the same time, he might be somebody who's actually wants to share his collection with everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up then. As always, you can follow us on Facebook and search for us on PodBean or everywhere you can find podcasts, on Spotify and everything else. So that's it for today. See you guys later.
Bye-bye, Steve.
Bye.